Welcome to the Hector Jesus Show. I am your brother in fashion, fitness, finance, and family, El Señor Romero Emiliano, Pablo Hector Jesus. First and foremost, you know I gotta shout out the gang. That's all my greatly ambitious, intellectually noteworthy gentlemen that's aggressively neutralizing the game. 365 days of the year. And as always, I got my co-host with me, the stock trader, model data, straight alpha, never beta. Okay. He might just caress your bitch in the elevator, then sit back with a glass of yak and a pair of gators. Okay. What's up, JB?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit the follow. Make sure you hit the like. We got some good people today, man.
Oh, yeah. Definitely hit the follow. Definitely hit us with a motherfucking like, man. Like I said, stop being creeps, man. Stop being creeps, man. I got, we got two dope people out the city, man. Two dope people out the city who's doing their thing. They definitely neutralizing the game. But first, I want to shout out our last guest from last week, Montana. I want to shout out my man Munchie for pulling up, his boy Benny and Kane, man. Dope guys. We had an ill-ass conversation. We ran about 2 hours. Yeah, about 2 hours.
A little, yeah.
We talked about everything, man, what they had going on. We talked relationships. And today, for those who are from Charlotte, y'all probably recognize this sign. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. Y'all probably recognize this from my live viewers. Y'all probably recognize this sign if you're from Charlotte. I got the one, the only owner of Unfair Apparel, my man Kaya. Kaya, what's up, baby?
Man, what's up, bro? Appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
City on the
chest. Yeah. So we got to give you a proper interjection, man. You know we got to make sure that you're feeling welcome, feeling at home. I appreciate you coming, brother.
Nah, man. Look, like I was telling a lot of people, like we known each other for 5-7 years,
something like
that.
It's been
a minute, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I'm comfortable. Like I've been kind of waiting to do it. I seen all the people you have in there. One time for Jay Stacks, going retarded with the beats. You know what I mean? Been doing this for a minute. He finally really getting the proper shine that he deserves. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I seen his thing. Always good to see the people you bringing on. You know what I mean? A lot of them got good information. A lot of them really doing their thing. Shout out to you. I don't know if a lot of people know, like, you've really been doing your thing. You've been grinding.
I appreciate you, brother.
I don't know if it's called a transition you're doing in your life or whatever you're doing, but like, a lot of us see it, man. That's known you for a minute, man, and it's lovely, bro.
I appreciate
really
you, brother.
Is,
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you coming, man, and showing us some love, man. A lot of people don't know, man. I have been doing this thing for a while too, man. I mean, like I said, if you're from Charlotte, you recognize this sign. Like, this sign is really, man, is monumental out here in Charlotte. I think it's more monumental than the actual sign that you see when you're coming into the city. I mean, shit. Everybody who really I've seen every local artist wear this shirt, wear the hoodie, wear the pants, man. Like, this is a brand that, when you talk about Charlotte, you got to talk about this brand, bro.
Man, I hope so.
Yeah, nah, it is, man. You don't got to hope. It is. I mean, like I said, and not only just artists, but just people in general, you know what I mean? Being able to wear something and feel proud, because really, we're a big city, but we're small, and,
Sure.
and we're small in the sense of our city is small, but the people is a lot of us here. And we never really have had something to like throw on. We don't have a team like that. We got the Hornets, but they flip-flop and turn into Bobcats. Yeah. Now they're Hornets again, you know what I mean? Which is dope. I love the Hornets, you know what I mean? Like, right. As far as what they represent in Charlotte. But like our football team, the Carolina Panthers, even though we're right here, a couple blocks away from the actual Bank of America Stadium, which is where the Carolina Panthers play. It's Carolina. It's not like the Charlotte Panthers, right? And we just got the Charlotte Knights, which I don't know how good they doing. I don't follow.
They're coming up.
Yeah. Hopefully they're coming up. I think they doing a soccer team now too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy. You see, so there's a lot of money coming to Charlotte. I can't remember who we were having a conversation with, talking about how a lot of people come to Charlotte to blow their record. A lot of people come to Charlotte to
20.
It was with 20. A lot of people come to this city to become more than they was, because if you notice, all the other cities, like bigger cities, more well-known cities, they're leaving, and they're coming here. A lot of retail business out here too.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, exactly.
Now, it's crazy because a lot of big businesses are starting to bring home offices here. Mm-hmm. They did the whole tax break. where you bring your home office here, and you know you have so much employment that's from here in the city. You know, they was giving a lot of them breaks. So I don't know if that helped it out, but there's a lot of big Fortune 500 companies that are really making an imprint in the city and have a footprint. You know, and of course that helps us all the way around.
Yeah, that's the whole reason why you see all these buildings coming up all the way.
Yeah.
You know, because there's all these companies, you know, they want to headquarters and all that. So there's money here, man.
Yeah. And again, so, and let me introduce my other guest too. We're going to get into this conversation quick. I got another heavy duty guy out the city, you know, Zaytoven. You said you were, what and 10 and 0 right now?
I'm about like 20 and 0.
20 and 0.
Undefeated.
You know what I'm saying? Undefeated. Gonna be the Mayweather battle rap coming out of Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? So tell them a little bit about yourself, man. And I'm gonna have you give them your info too, Kaya, your Instagram and all of that. Where can they find you, bro?
I mean, Zaytoven 15, ZATOVN 15. I'm from the city, man. I'm from the city. I started probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and me and him didn't even know each other. But I told him like I wanted to wear one of his shirts, battle in, and he showed up to my first ever battle. He didn't know me from anywhere, didn't know anything. And I took off, and he been there with me ever since.
That's dope.
Riding his coattails now. You know,
Go ahead and Yeah, everybody get a proper introduction here, man. Here you can feel safe, you can talk your shit, you know, you can feel comfortable answering the questions we answer. Like, this is the Hector Jesus show, y'all. So, you know, we definitely get busy. So you said you've only been battling for 5 years?
Yeah, this is going on my 5th year right here. This is my 5th year. Yeah, like I ain't even grow up rapping at all.
Okay.
Yeah, like I'm new to all of this.
What made you get into the battle rap though? Like, instead of being really wanting to be an artist?
I looked at it like I was like, damn, like I could do that. You feel me? That's honestly what it was. Like I felt like I could do it. I didn't know how good I was. I just felt like I could do it. And I don't know. I guess like the artistry of I love listening to music, but as far as actually making my own music, it ain't really like appealed to me. You feel me? But with battle rap, I was like,
you talk your shit.
Yeah, it's a different art form. You feel me? It's a totally different way to rap and things like that. So, I mean, I figured I could do it. I tried it and took off from there.
Yeah, because the battle rap a whole nother it's a whole nother animal. Like, it's
different,
not,
right?
Totally, man.
Yeah, and it ain't 8 Mile, y'all. So for those listening, don't think that you can jump into the battle rap world and be rabbit. Nah, like there's a whole nother breed of motherfuckers. Like, if you don't know what it is, look up a few Smack videos. Now they got URL.
Actually,
what's
what
the
y'all
other
do,
one?
go to YouTube, look at Zay. Zay got a brand new battle. They just dropped with RBE. When y'all drop to YouTube?
About 2 days ago.
2 days ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Killed him.
Yeah.
Killed him.
Yeah. Pretty simple.
Yeah,
Check it
so,
out. Like and follow.
yeah, facts. Like and follow, man. Hit it with a like, man. Yeah, it's a whole nother world. It's not the same as, you know, it's not the movies, it's not none of that. Like, they get busy, man. Like,
You never done that, Hector?
Nah, I never battle rapped. Well, I mean, you know, earlier, like, you know, you have your like high school battles and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have shit like that where, you know, you're really just like freestyling, you know. But as far as like really battle rap, nah, I never did that. I never really battle
Think it gets too
rap.
personal for you?
Nah, hell no, I'll eat a motherfucker up. I would have, you know what I'm saying? I would have ate somebody up. And you know, it's just different. I never really like, I'm more into the artistry. Like, I'd rather create.
Like the song structure.
Yeah,
like
song
that.
structure and things like that, and make music like that. But rather than you know, cause y'all be on some it's a whole nother, you know. So I would have to, you know, I would really have to, you know, go back to the books. Writing songs, that's different, you know. It's a whole nother process. It's a whole nother mentality you got to be in. Definitely. When you're battle rap, you know, as far as from the outside looking in, as a consumer, what I can tell from it, it's like, it's almost like preparing for a fight. You know what I mean?
It
So
definitely is.
It is.
So you got to really train your craft, right? You got to sharpen your sword. You got to make sure everything makes sense, and everything got to be about that person.
That was
you
what I
know?
was gonna get to. Like, it's you know, I don't know what your writing process was, but like when Zay goes in and does certain stuff, like he has to focus on one person and he has to have a real concept. A lot of times artists get in the studio and their song structure kind of varies, and you have so many different topics you can kind of speak on, and you know, in one verse or whatever it is. When he gets in there, like he really has to like
gotta be about that person.
Yeah, you got to zone in. You got to do research on certain things they've done. You know, different things to really have that concept all the way targeted in, all the way zoned in on one thing.
Which is different from you know, your man's going to somebody else's man's, be like, yo, my man's can whoop your man's in a battle rap, and you just walk up, you just met, you never seen him, and you freestyle off the top off of the guy, what he's wearing and how he looks or whatever. You know what I mean? The guy standing next to him, which is off the top. Versus you have, you know, 3 months to prepare. You got 90 days. You got to research his Facebook, research what he's done and all that stuff. Exactly. And it's, you know, it's different. You could really do your homework. And I noticed that the guys that because I'm a big fan of Arsenal. I like Arsenal because of his disrespect. Like, it's, you know, he's not the best out there when it comes to lyrically, you know, like as far as like his pen. Right. Because honestly, I would give that to somebody like like maybe like Daylight. I think Daylight's pen is crazy, bro. Like, Daylight. You know, as far as like how he puts the words together and things like that, his wit and his funniness, and you know, there's other guys. You know, I mean, I like Murder Mook a lot. You know, I think he's dope too. But you know, a guy
you really
like
hip to the battle scene.
Well, I don't watch it anymore, man. But when I was like, I definitely watched it enough to know who I like and who I don't like. Because I hear some guys, like, for instance, I think it's part of the street culture too. Like, I don't like the nerdy guys. You know what I'm saying? Like if I can't identify with you, like for instance, Disaster, right? You know, and I don't want to make this all about battle rap, but it's funny.
Let's talk about it.
Disaster versus Cassidy, right? Cassidy ain't a better rapper than Disaster lyrically. Lyrically, Disaster nastier with his pen, but Cass was too like.
He had everything else.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? He was too like hood for him. Right. But you put Cassidy in front of Goods. Did he go? He went against Goods. He went against Goods. Ate him. He went against who was the other guy?
Hitman.
He went against Hitman. See, I'm not a fan of Hitman. Hitman too like to me, right? The other guy. Who was the other guy? He went against Goods. He went against another dude. It was 3 of them after Disaster. Who was him? Or am I tripping?
No, you're not tripping.
It was another guy, right? It was
he battled Goods. Did he battle Arsenal? He might.
He battled Arsenal. Arsenal ate him, bro.
He battled Arsenal.
Arsenal, yeah. So it was like, I think he battled Arsenal first. He battled he battled Goods first. He battled Goods, Arsenal, and then Hitman. Because when he battled Arsenal, Gilly was there. Yeah. And you know, Gilly had his shit with Kaz back in the day.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So but Gilly
is Arsenal from the South?
No, Arsenal's from Jersey.
Okay. Yeah. But I seen him down here like a bunch of times. He used to be down here a lot.
They say he lived down in either Atlanta or Florida.
Got you.
I didn't know that.
So he down here.
So
a lot of those guys moved down here.
But he ate him, bro. And you know, Gilly a Philly nigga, like straight up and down. So he's with Cassidy. And it's funny because they asked him, like, yo, who won the battle? And he ain't really want to answer because, you know what I'm saying? But he you know, he insinuated, like, I mean, come on, man. You know who won the battle. Because Cass, that he's still on that, I don't know, man. His rhyme scheme just is not 2000.
So did you like his music, though?
I was never a big Cassidy fan, like, ever like that. I mean, I'm a hustler. I like that, you know what I'm saying? And then that's really it. Yeah, I was in a huge, I was listening to, like, you know, Dipset and 50 and The Lox and Lil Wayne and shit like that. And then whatever was on the radio. And then some guy, bro, I think he was from Long Island, older guy. He put me on like your Nas and your Big Pun and your Big L. And then my favorite rappers started changing. Right. I started liking, you know, Nas became my favorite rapper. Big Pun, Jay-Z became my favorite rapper. Now, at the age of 30, right? Oh, I'm almost 30, but at the age of 30.
30, boy.
Yeah, I'm 30, basically. December 7th, y'all. At the age of 30, DMX is my favorite rapper. And DMX came up battle rapping.
Right.
Yeah, and from what I hear, he was eating motherfuckers up, bro. Yeah. To be honest, they have an unseen battle between him and Jay-Z.
Yeah, him and Jay.
Bro,
Yeah.
I would have loved to see that, bro. I would have
I
loved
think
to
there's
see
a couple
that.
clips because it seems like
There's
I've
a
seen.
few
Yeah,
clips.
it's the one where they're in the pool hall, right?
They're in the pool
Yep.
hall. Yeah.
I've seen a couple little clips, and obviously with they run it a lot.
Yeah,
I'm with you,
yeah.
bro. I like to see the whole thing.
I would love to see
I'd like
that,
to see the
bro.
whole thing
Because
go down.
Jay a rapper,
Right.
and but DMX, that energy is a whole nother,
True. Very
and then
true.
there's another battle rap that I would have loved to see, Jay-Z versus Big L, because Big L, bro,
Big L was very underrated.
Bro.
Very, very underrated.
But see, what made him underrated? He couldn't write a song to save
Right,
his
he
life,
couldn't make a
and
song.
that'll fuck an artist up,
Yep,
bro.
for sure.
If
Can't
you
make a
can't write a song, G, or you're too hood to write a song or too gangster to write, bro, like you're never gonna get out of there. Like you gotta switch it and do like the commercial shit, or you're gonna be an underground rapper.
A lot of times I think it's song structure too.
Song
I
structure,
think
yeah.
a lot of people know how to rap and they know how to rhyme, but don't understand the analytics of
Writing a song.
Writing a song. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like you can ask a lot of artists right now, they don't even know what a bridge is or where to put a bridge at. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times with the kind of where we're going now, because it's the time space is so short
2
on
minutes,
a song,
yeah.
that a lot of times artists need to use bridges because then it breaks down that 8 bars, or you know what I mean, like that part of it, so it cuts it down on the time that people don't want to hear, or DJs or radio's not going to play. And that's just something you got to do your history on and figure out, how exactly a strong shuckster or how this thing really works, putting a real song together.
Yeah, because anybody can write a hot 16.
Yeah, for sure.
Anybody can spit some shit. But once you start understanding, like, there's an intro, like the structure of a song.
Right.
Intro, hook, verse, bridge, hook, outro.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So a lot of guys don't, like, if you can't, you got to start with the hook. At least that was my song process, right? It was like, if I'm going to write a song, once I have the hook, it's a rap.
Then you fill it in after that.
Yeah, I already know what I'm going to write about. I already know it's easy, everything
So
else
when you
is
was
just my
doing the
cadence.
music, were you doing hooks first on the beat and then go back and kind of put the verses in?
Nah, man, I was it's crazy. It turned into not Kai interviewing me.
You see how this go, right?
Shit, I'm learning right now.
Yeah, no, it's dope. It's dope.
Because like honestly, like I was telling Zay on the way here, I was like, I don't think a lot of people like they kind of see where you progressed and where you're at now, and unfortunately, bro, we're gonna kind of put you in the media anymore, but you're really an artist. To me, you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that's a background a lot of people know about you, especially now because you're really getting some real motion with the podcast and different, the media part of it. But like you was a dope artist. Like you
appreciate
you
you.
put your work in.
Yeah.
You put out good music. You knew what it was to promo. You knew what it was to get in the studio, get your work done.
Yeah.
Different things like that. So the audience that you have now, they look at you different. I don't think they know that that's your background, or you know what I mean.
They
like
think
how
I'm
you're
a squeaky clean. You know what's funny?
They like the turtleneck and the gold chain now.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? They don't know like you really was out here, with the shits.
Yeah,
Like,
and you know what's funny, Kaya? A few of my clips are going viral, like viral. I think one of them were like at 400,000 views on Instagram, which isn't shit.
That's shit.
They eating me, boy. Like they, this, that, and they think I'm 20 years old. It's funny, and they eating me right now. Look, say lame live. A nigga put lame live. I mean, come on, bro, you on it? You know what I'm saying? Like they don't. So it's like they don't got nothing to do. But it's funny because you're right. The song process, like they don't know that. They see this like 400,000 people saw my face here versus back when you met me. You know what I mean? The first time. But yeah, no. To answer the question you asked, at first I was that just writing 60, bro. I'd write 32 bars, bro. Like, and you know what I mean. But then I realized, I was like, you know what? The lyrics are hot, the bars are hot. Cause for the record, a lot of y'all weren't touching my pen. Let's just get that straight. For the record, they weren't touching my pen. But once I started understanding the process of making a song, I feel it turned my artistry into something else. I was able to more so become more marketable. And I understood, like, you know what? And this is for the ones who are tuning in, who are artists. Bro, sex appeal is crazy. Like you gotta like be in shape. You know, not everybody could be Biggie. Not everybody could be Gucci back with the gut. Even Gucci when he came out, you know what I'm saying?
Together.
And his career compared to what it was, even though the hood fucked with him, it took off, bro.
Yeah.
Like now Gucci is a solidified print in hip hop right now. You know what I mean? And you know, the ego in rap is crazy because I be seeing some artists that I know, you know, I be wanting to tell them, yo, bro, if you lose, you be crazy. But if you lose weight, bro, you get a 6-pack, start taking your shirt off and rapping that shit, you being from the streets. I want to tell them this, like, you being from the streets, really spitting that shit, bro, you'll take off. Because that's what they want to see, man.
Now, I seen you kind of switch over to the health mode, too.
Yeah.
Like really, before you started really doing the podcast, I seen you, like I told him, I was like, yo, he disappeared for a minute, and all of a sudden he started popping up. He's in the gym. You know what I'm saying? So do you think it's more the eating style or the getting into the gym style?
Well, really, bro, what'll make or break you is the mentality. That's number one, is the discipline. Because it don't matter how much you're in the gym, if you can't eat right, it just ain't gonna work. And it don't matter how much you eat right, if you don't get to the gym, it's not gonna work. So it's the discipline, so the mentality ultimately, right? So you gotta, and now we're gonna go into the fundamental formula. So now we're gonna go into the meat and potatoes of the interview, right?
Right.
So look, the fundamental formula. For those listening, we keep telling you about this, right? The fundamental formula, the rules and principles with which one will proceed to achieve anything and everything. 7 steps: foundation, form, structure, system, accountability, order, and focus, right? So these 7 steps, bro, is what is, you know, they're the labels of how I mapped out this transition, which I think that everyone should follow these 7 steps. Are there other steps to follow? Yes, there are, but these are some of the most important steps, right? Foundation, looking within, forming a plan, structuring your plan, putting a system in play within your plan, keeping your focus, keeping your order, and holding yourself accountable. So all of that, bro, which is the mentality before you even start hitting the gym. Now you hit the gym, boom, which I think is one of the most important things to do. Why? Because it builds that discipline. I will wake up at 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning, right? Or 5. I mean, this man wakes up at 5 in the morning to hit the gym upstairs, right? And then he meets me in the afternoon at night, 7 after he gets off work.
Not every night.
Me again. Not every night, but you know, at least 2-3 times.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
2-3
saying?
times,
So,
not because I go to bed, because I have to work. You know what I'm saying?
you know, same thing with me, bro. I'm in there in the morning, I'm there in the afternoon, right? Not everybody has to do it this way, but that's just my discipline. So the discipline, to answer your question, the discipline is the main ingredient, bro. It's understanding, you know what? I will be tired every day. I'm going to be sleepy every day,
Right.
but I'm going to do this every day, right? And that's how you start building that resilience. Because back to the clip that went viral, oh, be vulnerable. You got to be vulnerable. Men are emotional too. Nah, men can display emotions. Men can cry, but cry in the dark.
Right. For sure.
You can be vulnerable, but be vulnerable to a man that you admire and respect, who can help you get out of that vulnerability, right? Who can help you with your resilience, who can help you be tougher, be stronger, show more valor, more bravery, right? And I'm going to bring this up because, you know, it goes with everything that we talk about. So the clip that's been going viral, right? One of them, a lot of women are saying this is the issue with men today, right? They don't open up to us as women. And a woman hit me up and sent me she reposted it, right? And she put oh, this is so wrong. This is the wrong mentality to have because even Jesus cried. You are correct. Jesus Christ did cry. But you know where he cried? He cried in the dark. He cried in the wilderness. And there's a scripture to it, and I'm gonna put it on the screen somewhere right here. He's cried in the dark. He told his followers, wait right here, don't fall asleep, I'll be back. He didn't even cry in front of the men that followed him. Why? Because he had a responsibility as their leader to show resilience, valor, and bravery, to show strength, right? He didn't show vulnerability. He went and cried in the dark by himself, and he was vulnerable with God, his father, right? And like I told y'all last time, if you don't have a father, find someone that you admire and respect to be vulnerable with. And if you can't find someone to be vulnerable with, you be vulnerable by yourself in the dark, and understand that you have enough power within yourself, enough critical thinking within yourself, and enough logic within yourself to go through and fight whatever it is that you're going against. And that's what women don't understand, because they think that they can be vulnerable with us, right? Because we're their emotional rock. Ain't no such thing as a woman being your emotional rock. You
Yeah,
solve
like
your
that.
issues, and
They will leave you.
They will leave you, yo. And that's a fact.
You know, and that falls back to being like the head of your household.
The head of your household.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's you know, I'm a father, so there's certain things that I have to conduct myself in front of my kids so they understand that when you get older, because I got 2 boys and a girl, so I need my boys to understand, like, look, bro, you have to be a man in certain situations. You have to do certain things that even though you might not either agree to it or don't want to do, but as a man, this is your job or this is what we have to do to make sure our household is structured and it stays strong with a good foundation. You know what I mean? So it's and I think a lot of times is kids that are 21, you know, 25, right in that era, a lot of their uncles, fathers got locked up. So when the important stage of their life to really understand what a man is, their aunts, their moms, grandmas raised them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now when their uncles and fathers are coming out from doing 15, 20 years, 10 years, like they don't have the respect factor of them because they haven't been around and they've been raised by women and it caused a lot of emotion. So, you know, it's one thing that I do is if I see a kid or I'm around other women's kids that don't have a father figure, like I try to at least instill some masculinity into them or give them, you know, some type of knowledge to understand that, look, bro, like you have to suck things up sometimes. You have to do some things that, unfortunately, as a man, this is what we have to do, but this is what we're structured for. This is what we're built for. You know, you got to handle certain shit that you don't want to do.
I mean, we got the strength within ourselves, bro, to handle it, you know. And whether you believe in the Most High God or not, I mean, he'll never put a
Anything you can handle.
yeah, he'll never put a burden on your shoulders that you can't bear, and that's what it is. And it's funny because like right now, I'm glad you said the word masculinity, because right now there's an attack on masculinity. They want us to be soft. They want us to be weak, you know. And I'm not saying that because we have emotions.
I was
We're
just about to
men.
say, don't get masculinity confused with emotion or connection to certain things.
Nah,
you know what I mean?
It's the way
Like,
we process
Yes.
those emotions, the way we handle those emotions that make a man masculine. We can't be running around crying. I mean, the last episode we did, we had a few ladies on the panel. They said, "Oh, I want a man to be vulnerable. I want a man to be able to come to me and cry." And then the guy that was with them asked, "Well, how long? 2 days? Is 2 days too much? Is 3 days too much?" She said, "Well, if you're crying for more than 2 days, then it's an issue." Damn, then how long
Well,
am
how
I
long- right,
available?
right,
How long will you be available to my vulnerability?
Right.
So don't do it at all. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? But they don't understand that because they can't conceptualize what it is to be a man. Like we go through
don't-
shit, bro.
And don't confuse masculinity with being not emotional. You know what I'm saying? Because our kids need to see some type of emotion or have emotion to them. And when I say emotion, I'm not talking about bawling your eyes out, complaining all day, but you have to show love and compassion to your kids. You know what I mean? And that raises a certain person and a certain mindset to these to the youngins. Like you know, some people try to be too tough with their kids, and when I say too tough, I'm not talking about discipline wise. I'm talking about like mental. You know what I mean? Like you have to establish a certain boundary so your kids understand that, you know, emotion is fine. You know what I mean? If you're upset, deal with that emotion. You know what I mean? It doesn't result to you being a tough guy or bullying somebody or doing whatever. Like, but you have to, you know, I guess process that whole emotion part of it. And if as men we don't raise these kids to, you know, process certain things, like we're just losing a bunch of them daily at a time.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's a fact, because what I've noticed is it'd be emotional men who beat their wife. Men who can't process their emotions correctly.
A lot of
who beat their wife.
insecurities, you know?
Yeah, a lot of insecurities, no self-worth, you know, no self-valor. They don't understand what it is that they feel, so they process it a different way. And I don't think that right now, right, the modern woman doesn't understand that. Like, they don't really we have civilized the earth to a certain level to where there's women out here that think that they can fight men. And it's like, yo, do you understand like how dangerous men are? Do you understand how much blood men can shed?
But the reason that is because men nowadays they're a little weak, you know? They're weak. They're submissive. They act like girls, bro. Like they be crying in front of the girls. They be crying all over the place. They're out. They drink too much. They start crying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So women they see that, they're like, shit, I can beat this motherfucker.
Yeah,
Right,
right.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
They
they
take advantage of that.
Yeah,
That's real, though.
Shit,
That's
you're a
funny
pussy,
because-
bro.
And then not only that, they rely on police to handle that issue. So another content creator says this too. He's like, yo, you guys complain about toxic masculinity, but as soon as you call police, you expect a toxic masculine man to come and save you from that.
Right.
You know, and it's funny because I think that, you know, it's interesting that you say also, you're right. We feel emotion. Men feel sad. You know, men feel down.
Yeah,
men
we're
feel
human beings, you know?
Yeah, we're human beings. But again, it's how we process them
And how we handle it.
and
How
how we
we
handle it.
put it out. How we put it out in our kids, how we put it out
Yeah,
in society,
especially
how we put it in
with
our
children.
business, and
So that
everything
fine
else.
balance that you're talking about between being too tough on your children, but still being tough enough to where they're resilient when they grow up,
Right.
and they're like, you know what, this is the way. That's why, and I'm gonna show it this time too. There's this Gillette commercial, right? Is in my opinion is disgusting. It just showed like the most extreme, you know, just examples of manhood, and I felt very offended by it when I saw it, and when I started like to really, you know, break it down to what it was. And I'm gonna put it on this for the viewers, yo. I'm gonna put it right here on the screen so y'all can see what I'm talking about. But it was very offensive in the sense that, for instance, there was two little boys fighting, right? Horseplay with little boys, it's okay. But the way they showed it in this commercial, they were literally beating each other's ass. And the fathers were, you know, with a cup, barbecuing. Oh, boys will be boys. And it's like, come on, man. No man in their right mind would ever allow their son or their nephews to just fight like that. Like, one thing is roughhousing with your cousins, and another thing is harming each other.
Right. Sure.
You know, because when you get to a certain age, for instance, we're all gentlemen here. We can have a conversation, we can have a discourse, we can have a disagreement, and not have to resort to to a physical altercation, because we know what we can be capable of.
And you know, another thing about it is just the horseplay and it taking too far with kids is like, if y'all are in that setting and y'all are in a barbecue or a family event, you have to understand, like, it's us against them, I guess, is the mentality sometimes. So quit pairing each other against each other. You know what I mean? Like we have to have some type of unity so we understand, like, look, this is our team, this is our family. It's not family against family. It's us against them. You know what I mean? And I don't mean to be like us against them, like in that literal sense, like war type shit. But like, look, we got to take care of ourselves. And if we're fighting in harmony with each other, like, that's not what this is about. Like, so that's why I say it's like we was talking about earlier. It's a thin line between raising your kids where they're too spoiled, but they understand, you know, the consequences and exactly what it took for us to get to where we are these days.
Yeah, because you
know what
want
I
to
mean?
give your kids, you know, everything you didn't have.
I'm fucking horrible with that
Yeah.
shit. I'm terrible, bro. I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's a day by day process with them.
Well, what I've noticed, Kaya, is you know, struggle builds a man. You know, struggle turns a boy into a man. So, you know, being able to find that limit, like, you know what, I don't want to spoil, especially the boys.
So I don't know,
It's
do
a
you have
little
kids?
different. Yeah, I got 3.
Do you?
Yeah, I got 2 boys and a girl. And, you know, I treat my son, he's older. He's 8. And then my little boy, he's a baby still. So he don't even, you know, he's still crawling.
Right.
But my daughter, right? I'm going to say my daughter and my son, which my daughter is 3 and my son is 8. I treat them completely different.
Totally different.
I don't
bro.
love them different. I love
Totally
them the
different.
same.
Yeah.
As far as like the limit of love I have for them is the same.
Right.
But I display my love to them
Totally
different.
different, bro.
And my son comes to me sometimes and tells me, Papa, how come you don't give me as much attention as Charlie, which is my Charlotte. Her name's Charlotte, but call it Charlie. So yeah, Charlotte, nigga,
Yeah.
Charlotte from Charlotte, baby. So my daughter, we call her Charlie. Why don't you give me as much attention as you give her? And I'm like, do you have any idea how much attention I give you? Like, if anything, I give you the most attention, but it's different. So I sit there and I have the conversation with him. I talk to him like a man, bro. You know, and it's a lot of man stuff. Like, you know, for instance, I didn't grow up with my father.
I was just about to ask you, did you grow up with your dad?
Nah, my father and my mother split when I was around his age.
8 years old?
8 years old, around 8, 7, which in my opinion is the most important part for a father to be present in his son's life, because the first few 8 years he's attached to his mother's hip. That's his teacher. You might see if you're a man of your business, you're not at the crib all day, bro. You a young man, and this for the young men, listen, if you're not getting money for at least 50 hours a week, bro, you doing something wrong. Like, you got to at least be putting 50 hours of work a week, bro. Like, you know, in whatever you do. So I'm barely home, you know what I mean? I'm barely home, but when I am home, it's more about the quality of the time that I spend with him rather than the quantity, right? Because I might, for instance, my main conversations with him are when I take him to the bus stop, right? Or when we getting ready in the morning, or on Sundays when we go to the barbershop. And it's all this is how a man acts, this is how a man behaves, this is how a man talks. You look a man in his eye, you speak to him, speak up, sit up, stand up straight, you know, back straight, chest out, you know, don't be leaning, don't be all that stuff, right? Basic things, which I missed at that age, because that's at the age you start interacting with your father. Your mind is a little bit different now. Now you start to ask more questions of how men move and how people move, right? And I noticed, for instance, my son big.
Look, man, different these days.
Yeah, yo, and it's funny because his mother was telling me she watched the video on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, or of how a teenage boy said, "I don't think that our mothers understand that we allow them to hit us. When our mothers like hit us as teenagers, we allow them, like, because I'm so much stronger than you are." Right. And it's crazy, and that goes back into how much we as men have civilized the world, that women think that they can fight us, where it's like, yo, a teenage boy will destroy you.
You know what's crazy is, bro, now you bring it up. The last time I really got a spanking from my mom, I was in like 8th grade, right? I got into a fight at school. They ended up calling her, come and getting her, right? And it was so crazy because as I got older, she literally told me, she was like, when I told you to turn around and get the belt and I'm going to spank you, she was like, literally, what do I do if he says no? You know what I mean? And so
it's crazy.
Yeah. And that's what, like, the older I got, I was already probably 6 foot, you know what I'm saying? She's 5'8", 5'7", something like that. And she was like, what was I gonna do if you turned around and said no? You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the things that, I'm not gonna say mothers manipulate us, but we have such a respect for our mothers, you know what I mean? That it's like, I was in college and I said a cuss word, because I don't cuss in front of my mom, none of that. And she popped me in my mouth. Like, literally was like, boom. I'm 20 years old. I'm already out the house. You know what I mean? And my mom still disciplined me. To this day, I don't cuss in front of my mom. Man. I don't smoke in front of my mom.
Boy, what?
I don't drink in front of my mom. Like, I had the utmost respect. Like, I'm still, yes, ma'am. She said something to me, I'm like, yes, ma'am. You know the way, man. Yeah.
But that separates you, bro, from something as small as yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir, separates you from other people as far as the respect factor. Because and it's funny, I think it's a South thing. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people from like other places are like, yeah, I'm not that old. And it's like, it's not about that. It's the fact that you're a lady. And, you know, because I'll even say yes, ma'am, to someone that looks
younger
around my age. Or I'll say
younger.
yes, ma'am. Yeah, because it puts that boundary, you know. And does everybody say yes sir, no, sir to me? No. I noticed that it's a lot of older guys or a lot of guys that are from the South that say yes sir, no, sir. But women typically don't too much. And I think that goes to the whole, you know, the times that we're in. I think that there's been a loss of respect from men to women. And it is a lot, you know, men's fault in general as a collective, our fault that, you know, women don't no longer respect us, which we're, you know, our attempt is to change, our aim is to change it, but it starts with us, right? But that separates you. Because I feel you, bro. The last time my mom swung her hand at me, I was 19. But again, you know what I mean? Like, and it goes back to that. Like, I don't think that they understand, like, Mom, I'm letting you hit me. Right. You know? Because all they have is manipulating us. Because that's all women have, is to be able to manipulate a man, because physically we're superior. For sure. It don't matter how much you think you can bench press and how much you think you can squat. Like, it don't matter if you squat 275 pounds, girl. Like, if I get a good, like, you know what I mean? Like, I will change your face. Like, your face will no longer be the same.
That was the same thing he was bringing up. Like, listen, y'all, like, us putting our hands on females, like I've never. That's one thing I pride myself in. I've never put my hand on a female. You know what I mean? Now, have females swung at me before? Unfortunately, yes. You know what I mean? But that's that self-control and understanding, controlling your emotion to not put your hands on a female. You know what I mean? Like, I can never respect any of that. I don't care what they did to you. You know, and if you get to the point where you feel like you have to put your hands on a female, like, you need to leave her alone. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, it is what it is. You know, if it's a random person talking shit, if it's your significant other, whatever, like, you know, subtract yourself from that situation. Yeah. Because it's just way too much. As a man, like you said, bro, we overpower it.
You got too much to lose as a man by engaging in a situation like that, by having to put your hands on a female. Like, you end up losing way more. Even if, like, because, I mean, if a woman hits you and you hit her back, I don't know the laws. Like, will you go to jail?
You still 72 in Charlotte, right? Like, if you get in a domestic dispute and they call the police, somebody has to go to jail for.
No, I'm saying randomly. Like, let's say you're at a bar,
something like that.
Until they figure it out.
Let's say you're at a bar, right? No, but I'm saying, like, not domestic, but let's say you're at a bar and, like, you accidentally knock a fucking drink over and a bitch smack you, like, and you smack that bitch back. Like, would you go to jail?
I'm sure.
So. Probably, yeah.
I'm not familiar with that situation.
Assault on a female.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But she assaulted you first, so wouldn't it be self-defense?
But they'll take it into it figures out. You know what I'm saying?
I was just about to say.
So that makes more sense. Yeah, you're right.
But does self-defense lie in the process of a female?
Yeah, bro. Like, they'll take you to jail even if your wife or girl will call you and say, "Hey,
he hit me.
My man hit me."
Yeah,
and he's in the other side of town. You know what I'm saying? But they're gonna arrest you into
they figure out
exactly.
Is that what the Charlotte law is? 72 hours? It used to be something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Shit, I know there's a stand your ground law here. I know that.
Listen, hold on. The firearms situation is a whole different situation.
Yeah, man.
You know, that's right in my alley. You know what I mean?
But yeah, no, this is a dope conversation, y'all. I appreciate everybody that's tuning in. Let's see. I know people got some questions. The setup looks great. Keep up the amazing work. I appreciate you, Jeff. Where we at?
Jeff?
Battle rap is one of the most profound aspects of the industry that requires a level of contextual lyricism and artistic ability not everybody can give to the listener.
Different mind,
yeah,
too.
man.
That's a fact.
Yeah, so that's a shout out to you, Zay.
Appreciate you.
Love to see Hector's transformation. That's why the youth should listen. Comes from experience. That's from my man Titus. Titus, I appreciate you, brother. We're going to give him a jewel. And Titus going to keep powering up, baby.
I don't think I know Titus, but bruh, look.
Titus got a podcast too, as of late. Podcast.
Yes, bro. Yeah. Listen, man, shout out to Titus, bro. You got one of the hardest shit, bro. Really, I was gonna call him Mac, but Southside Ghost really put me on your shit, bro. It was super, like you really put your work into it. Yeah. And I really enjoyed your podcast, bro. So, you know.
Yeah. I actually I spilled the beans on Titus' podcast. Like, I announced me not doing rap no more in his podcast.
Really?
Yeah. So we had been planning it for a year, not planning what I was going to talk about, but me going to the podcast and stuff like that. And, you know, it kept we couldn't, you know, set the date right. But when we did, bro, I think we spoke for like an hour and a half, man. Like, it was a dope podcast.
They definitely, anybody listening and checking it out, bro, check out Titus shit. Titus shit, especially with the Southside Ghost. That's like my brother right there. My kids call him Unc Mac. You know what I mean? So, like, he on tour right now with Primo Rice. They going fucking crazy.
Okay.
His music and to me, he doesn't really like. I'm not gonna say he doesn't have confidence in his music, but I don't think he understands. Like, like Ghost is really the sound of Charlotte for me. You know what I mean? Like, his music is fucking undeniable. Like, that's one of my favorite artists, even though we have a close tie and good relationship. Like, even if I didn't know him, like, his fucking music is amazing. So y'all make sure y'all check out Southside Ghost.
Put me on after the show.
Sure.
I think that's a social concept that men are supposed to be strong consistently and show no weakness. I think that men can show vulnerability and emotion without showing weakness. To a certain extent. Yeah, to a certain extent, you can show vulnerability, but just not around your woman. You know, you gotta around women and around your children. You have to be consistently strong. I mean, they're looking up to you. It's your responsibility to be their leader. You know, maybe with a few amount of women, it could slide but don't take those risks. For those watching, don't take that risk because, you know, as we proved in the last episode, you know, how long can I be vulnerable for?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Before you expect me to be back to where I was. So don't show it at all. You know, you got a responsibility to be a leader, to show the attributes and characteristics that come with leadership, and vulnerability isn't one. You know, it definitely
a
is
lot
resilience.
of things is, bro, you got to keep that calm and that peace in your household. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So a lot of times the vulnerability and the weakness, like you have to suck it up just to keep that foundation and that peace and that, you know, that subtleness in your household.
Right.
Does that make them less of a man though? Well,
No, they don't. It doesn't, bro.
This is a question. I think this is actually earlier into the thing when we was having a conversation about that. I don't know what part of what we said he's asking this for. So Jeff, reiterate your question for us if you're still on the live. Does that make them any less of the man? You know, articulate a little bit more so we know what it is that you're talking about. 17,000 followers, but only 5 viewers. Something's fishy. Yeah, whatever, nigga. You still on my shit. Hector Jesus paid for followers.
Hey, look, we appreciate you being on the vibe.
Yeah, you just mad we viral. And that's it. So yeah,
What?
I'm gonna go to the bathroom. So go ahead.
Nah, hey, but to be honest, like our show is about putting the youngins on. You know what I mean? The people, the kids, the people that didn't grow up with a father. You know, not even an uncle that they can look up to. You know, so some of the questions that we always ask: what would you guys say to the upcoming generations, based on your knowledge, based on your experiences, the things that you've done?
You know, unfortunately, bro, I don't think it's like a certain statement. You know what I mean? I think it's that, like, I didn't grow up with my dad, but I grew up with my uncle. You know what I mean? It was like 7 women running around us, and it's just me and my uncle. You know what I mean? And I seen how he ran his household, how he did certain things, and I think it's a process of it. You know what I mean? And I think it's you know, just not one statement or being around a kid one time. And should you give a kid knowledge, you know, as soon as you meet them, of course. But at the same token, like, you have to be around them. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, they're not knocking females, but they bring men around, and then it doesn't work out, and then that kid builds a relationship with them, and then he's gone. You know what I mean? So it has to be a consistency of kind of raising a kid, or, you know, speaking knowledge in it. And it's to a lot of dudes. Like, if you're in a relationship with a female and you build that connection or that bond with that kid, and it doesn't work out with his mom or you know, however it works out, still keep a connection with that kid. You know what I mean? Like, even though it's not your kid, like, if y'all built that relationship and you know that y'all had that bond, like, keep that bond. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be an everyday bond, but, you know, reach out to him, make sure he okay. You know, see how school going.
Yeah, because you don't know what kind of effect they did into
you don't know what impression
life.
you made on that kid. You know what I mean? You could have really made an impression that changed that dude's life, and it really
and you go away.
And
then,
and then it's the same thing. It's the same cycle. Like, his dad left him, you left him. You know what I mean? So it's that consistency of being in, especially these kids' lives.
Yeah, no, you gotta be consistent. You gotta be a leader. You know, like you gotta lead by example.
Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah.
Because it's like I'm a visual person too. You know what I mean? Like, you know, one time for Art Simpson, I don't know if y'all know, like, he's a super graphic dude, like he's a good friend of mine. And me dealing with a graphic person for certain things, I can't do on the phone. You know what I mean? Because I'm a visual person. So I have to sit down with and really go over it with you, get that whole feel of it. A lot of stuff I do, like, that we've executed, been on napkins. You know what I mean? So I write on a napkin, draw it on a napkin, whatever, and then because I'm a visual person. And it's the same thing with kind of raising the youth now. Like, they have to be consistent. You have to be visual with them. You know, you have to be in their life and explain certain things, because we see so much anymore with social media that it's so quick to go through your timeline. Don't let that timeline be that kid's life experience.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So you know, it has to be that hands-on consistency.
Right, every single day, because, you know, social media, like, they see something here, they see something there, and they get confused. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, I even get confused at times. You know,
Man.
Me too. Just imagine a kid that, like, he doesn't even know what life is or how it's supposed to live life.
And that's the issue, Juan. I'm glad you said that too, about how it'll even confuse an adult. It'll even do things to an adult's brain, bro, let alone the child. Right. You know what I mean? Like, imagine that all you have as a child is what you see on social media.
Right.
That begins to be your reality. I'll give a perfect example. When I first started on my fitness journey, I would go, I'd be on Instagram and I see these big, well, not even big because I like calisthenics, but like these super ripped niggas, right? Like they fucking ripped. People don't look like that in real life, bro.
Real life, no.
They take a picture a certain way, right after a pump. Like, you can look like that for a couple seconds, take your picture real quick or you know what I mean, you know how to pose, but you're not walking around looking like that,
all day long.
Man.
Nobody posts the bad stuff. Nobody posts the struggle.
That's why I call it a pose. You know what I'm saying? Because you're
pose.
in that pose for a certain second. It's not a consistent thing that you do. Right. It's a pose. Like you posing on it. And you hear people talk about social media and they only show the upside of different things. You know what I mean? And that's real. You know what I mean? Because unfortunately, I'm guilty of that too.
I mean, shit, man. We just show the dope shit. I just show when I'm ranting at it. I just show when I did the best clips. You know what I mean? You got to get out of a 3-hour video or a 2-hour video, like why would, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm going to show the best 15, 20, 30 seconds. I mean, when it comes to marketing. But I think that and it's funny because everything that we talk about, bro, ties together. And me and Juan, we structure this to a way where, for instance, this right here, this conversation, we're linking it back to what Stacks said. So Stacks, if you're still listening, this is a quote you said, be able to separate the real from the fake. And that's the issue with the children right now. They don't know what's real and they don't know what's not real. And social media has a big part in it.
Definitely.
Especially in hip hop. Like, you don't know who's real or who's not. Like,
who's
everybody
really doing it, who's really not.
Yeah, like everybody's pulling up on the ops. Everybody in hip hop is pulling up on the ops. Everybody's fucking somebody's baby moms. Everybody knows this, and it's like, come on, man. That's when you start to have to develop that. But children, since their attention span is so small, since they grew up with the phone, they don't know. They think all of that is real. They think all of that is reality, but in reality, it's not. People aren't walking around buff like that all day. People aren't walking around with a 6-pack all day. Like, you got to have a chance to breathe. We just show the best part of our day, not the worst. Not when you're alone. Not when you're vulnerable in the dark.
Not when you're vulnerable in the dark.
You show when you're happy. And a lot of these people are not happy. But hey, it is what it is. But so, bruh, so Jeff reiterated his question, right? So we're gonna go ahead and question. In the question, I mean along the lines that showing the vulnerability, does that make them less of a man? What do you think, Juan?
I think not, bro. Like, it's okay to be like that, but like you said, like we said, if you're gonna do it with somebody, do it with either your dad. Shit, if you don't have a dad, do it with God. And that means that you got to do it in the dark. You know what I'm saying? Or do it by yourself. But in front of your girl, bro, 10 times out of 10, your girl's going to leave you. Yeah. If she's going to leave you right now, she's going to leave you.
Definitely.
Because she's gonna look for somebody that doesn't show that. That he's not crying. He's gonna be like, hey, no, sit down right there. I'll be with you in just a second. You know what I'm saying? Because girls like that. They want that.
They want the security. They want to know that they can count on you to get them through their issues, bro. Even if they say, oh, I'm an independent woman, I don't need no man. Well, technically you do. Because men, real men, we don't run around saying I'm an independent man and I don't need no woman.
That's crazy.
Happily, bro. Like, for instance, this is when men go to when men are competitive and they go to lengths to become somebody, to reach status, to reach a certain amount of money, they only do it so they can find a woman and take care of her.
Right.
That's why we get rich. That's why we want money. That's why we want to be the best. So we can find one of the most beautiful women and take care of her and have kids and take care of them. When women want to be the richest, when women want status, they want it only so they can say, I don't need a man.
Right.
And that's the difference between us. We want to depend. We want a woman to depend on us. Men don't.
We don't do it for us.
Women don't want to have to depend on a man, so we don't do it for us. We do it for the woman we want and for the children we want to have.
For the generation.
Just let me jump in real quick before I lose my train of thought. The vulnerability part of it is, it's dealing with an issue. You know what I mean? Deal with it, get over with, and then move on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's that whole processing of it.
Recognizing it,
Yeah.
dealing with it,
Yeah.
and then seeing what's
definitely.
coming up.
Yeah. So you can be vulnerable.
100%.
Just don't do it in front of your woman, because it would be selfish of you to give her that burden. It would be selfish of you to allow her to see you in that way. Because women can't handle men, but bro, women, they say that, oh no, I would feel so special. And ultimately it's a selfish thing. I would feel so special if my man broke down in front of me and gave me the you know, was use
it against you later.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I would feel special that he loved me and trusted me enough to break down in front of me. So it's about you ultimately. It's about how you feel. It makes you feel better to know that this man loves you or trusts you enough. It's not about him. It isn't about how much you want to make him feel better. It's about how it makes you feel.
Right.
About him trusting you or him feeling vulnerable enough around you. It's not about how much you want to help him, because ultimately women are incapable, and I'll say it, women are incapable of understanding man issues. You don't even process reality the way that men do. Women process reality different, and they digest it different, and they experience it different compared to how a man experiences, digests it, and processes it. We're two different beings. And I'm not talking about human equality. I'm talking about us as a female and man. We're not equal. We're not the same. We don't like the same things. We don't have the same interest. Men are more visual. We more so like what we see. We like to do things with our hands. That's why little boys run around and throw dirt and kick shit down and jump and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a social thing. It's a biological thing. It's the way that we were engineered. Like, you know, that's why even our jaw structure, bro.
That's why chromosomes are different in us.
That's why chromosomes
are
different in us.
That's why it's, you know, hormones and, you know, different things like that. It's our structure that really God put this together for a certain reason. You know what I mean? So it's a thin line between being vulnerable and weak. You know what I mean?
There's a thin line, yeah.
And you got to process it and kind of figure out what works for you. But at the end of the day, like, we got to show our masculinity and really have that structure of being a man in the household.
Especially in our household, around the people that love, admire, and respect us.
Especially if we have kids, especially if it's somebody looking up to you, and if you're not leading position, you got to be like that.
Like, how do you think your daughter would feel to see the man, the first man that she'll ever love, that she ever felt, this is because to our children, we're Superman to our children.
Definitely.
They see us and they're like, wow, my dad is so big. Wow. Like, you know, like, he's so strong. Wow, he's so fast. Wow, something as simple as picking up a pack of water from Sam's Club. They're like, wow, like, yo, my dad is strong. Like, yo, little boys have this conversation. My dad can do more push-ups than your dad can. Come on, bro. You see what I'm saying? So they look at you a certain way, and it would be selfish to show that, man. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that. Like, they look up to you. They look up to you to be their leader, even if they don't realize it, but they see you as like, this is my rock. This is my strength. This is who I want to be like.
Especially little girls, man.
Especially little girls.
Man.
What do you think your daughter, right? For those who have daughters, what do you think your daughter would feel, right? To see you broken down, crying, the man who's supposed to protect her as a little girl, not even being able to process what her emotions are like, let alone to process the emotions she see her father showing.
You know, it's
That's
crazy. That adage about if you have a daughter, the father is the first person she really falls in love with.
Bro.
You know what I mean? And it's super true, because I have a daughter, and I want to be the first male that she falls in love with. You know what I mean? And it's exactly. And it's setting expectations. So my daughter understands, like, don't fall for this bullshit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So she understands that, look, this is how my dad treated me, and I need you to treat me the same way or better.
Right.
And if it's not this standard, then I can't fuck with you.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah, I don't want that. Like, this is what I expect from you. This is what it is. So, you know, as men,
that's why it's so important, as for those who are fathers, to be in their child's life, especially the daughters.
Definitely daughters' lives.
You're the one who teaches her everything about men.
Yeah,
you said in the standard.
Even if you're not there, right? If you show that you're not there, that teaches her something about men. So
one of my OGs told me, right? His name is Kev, bro. He's an author. He's done a bunch of books, but he was telling me one time, he was like, man, listen, when you start dealing with these girls and you really are in a relationship, like, do the background on them. You know what I mean? Were they raised by their dad?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What it is, because you know that daddy issue shit is fucking real as
real.
shit,
Yeah, it's
bro.
real.
Like it's
It's
real
real.
as
It's
fuck.
flooding the fucking city, boy.
Yeah, like don't get it fucked up. Like these women really have daddy issues because their father wasn't in their life. You know what I mean? And you have to deal with that in the long run because they don't know how to necessarily have a relationship with a man because they never had one.
Because women don't know how to love if they don't have a father. They assume what love is.
Right.
They assume what it is to love. They don't know how to love. They don't know what love is. Men teach women
I mean,
how
it's
to
whatever
love.
the mom told them, you know?
And it's whatever the
Yeah.
mother. And if she's a single mother and she didn't have a father, then it's just a continuous cycle.
Right.
You know? So and they're mad right now on the they're mad
they
right
really?
now. Yeah, hell yeah. Right now it said a real woman who is radiant with God within and it's not a burden. That means you ain't with a real. This is the same girl. She's mad.
What's her
Bullshit.
name?
Micah Laura.
Say it again, what you say?
She said, okay, so while we were talking about
So Mika, was she raised by her father? Did she
I
have a
don't
father in her life?
I don't know. It seems like
asking.
she wasn't. Micah, was you raised by your father? Let us know in the comments.
Or did she have a man?
Or did you have a man, like a man
like a
present?
father figure?
A father
You know, an
figure,
uncle.
a strong
So-
father
yeah,
figure,
yeah.
not someone who's on drugs or someone who
Right.
was barely there or just came out of jail. No, a man, a father, a man, a traditional man who you could look up to. Because she said bullshit. That means you ain't with a real, which is what a lot of modern women say. But you don't even
So
know
look,
what
can we
you're
bring her on
saying.
live?
You don't even know what you're saying.
Can we bring her on live?
If she wants to go, we can go on live. You know, she'll see us,
that
but we
cool?
won't be able to see. I'll be able to see her, but she won't be able to see us.
But what was the original comment? What did she say?
She put bullshit to what we're saying about not being able to be vulnerable. About don't be vulnerable with a woman because she'll leave you. She won't respect
No,
you.
but you know what it is.
She said that means you ain't with a real.
Now, once again, you got to understand I guess the definition of all this or the impression that we're trying to make is like there's a thin line between being vulnerable and weak.
Right.
You know what I mean? I guess you know the text of it or the context of it. Like you have to look into it. Like this is like it's a difference between being vulnerable in front of people and being weak in front of people. I guess that's my outlook.
But
Weak
see,
is more
vulnerability. My bad. Go ahead.
Weak is more so, allowing people to just do whatever and run all over you.
Right.
That's being weak. Somebody come in and pretty much sit on your couch and tell you what you do. That's more so weakness.
But that's vulnerable too. That's being because you're vulnerably weak. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't you ain't even the ruler of your house. Someone come in and sit on your couch.
I don't
what I'm
know. I just think vulnerability and being weak is just two totally different things to me.
different because
I do. You know what I mean?
The context is different, you know. Being weak is like somebody coming in and taking
like you
advantage
said.
of everything that you
Yeah.
doing, everything you they take just anything that you
vulnerable
say
is
doesn't mean
different.
shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But being vulnerable is like you open up to different options, like
Right.
when with emotions, with your household, willing to find a balance between your wife, your kids, and everything else.
Well, and this is a saying in Spanish, say, pa sacarnos de duda, so we don't have any more doubt, right? Which is the translation. Vulnerable is an adjective, is meant to describe something. And what it means is susceptible to physical or emotional attack or harm.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah.
Emotional.
So what is
weakness.
weak? So what is it? What so is weak a verb or adjective?
Weak.
It should be a verb or an adjective. I mean, it should be both, to be honest.
Weak is an adjective, lacking the power to perform physically demanding tasks, lacking physical strength and energy.
So
So
do
it goes hand in
But do
hand.
they classify it as adjective and a verb?
It's
or is
an
it just
adjective. It's just an adjective. Yeah, so it's meant to describe something.
Okay, but keywords: vulnerable, emotions.
Vulnerable
Okay.
is physical and emotion. So you're
Right.
susceptible to physical harm. That means you're vulnerable. You can be physically harmed or you can be emotionally harmed. It has nothing to do with expressing your emotions. It means you can be harmed emotionally. That means your woman can be like, well, you were crying the other day. And you're like, damn, I was crying the other day. You know what I'm saying? Or for instance, because this is for the average guys who, are going to work or dealing with people, whatever. Damn, baby, my boss went. Like, you know how a woman come and tell you about the bullshit she went through at work? Like that. Men who do that, that's being weak. At that point, now you're being weak. If you're vulnerable, you're weak. You know what I mean? You're susceptible to physical or emotional attack or harm. That means you can be hurt emotionally. You can be hurt. physically.
So one doesn't happen with another.
Yeah, so you can't be weak without being vulnerable, and you can't be vulnerable without being weak. So
Really?
therefore, a strong man.
That's the definition of it?
No, what I just said, the definition of vulnerable is susceptible to physical or emotional attack or harm. And then there's another one, say, in need of special care, support, or protection because of age, disability, or risk of abuse or neglect, liable to higher penalties either by convention or through having won one game. So I guess that's when it comes to like an author.
It means
you know
that
what I'm saying?
you're hopeless.
But the basically, the basic, in even the synonyms, in danger, in danger, in peril, in jeopardy, at risk, endangered, unsafe, unprotected.
Vulnerable or
yeah,
weak?
this is vulnerable, boy.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's hard.
exposed, wide open, undefended, unshielded, unfortitude, unarmed, defenseless, impulsive. Come on, y'all. Resilientless. You know what I'm saying? Like you guys on the live, Miss Nika or Mika, whatever. Yes, no. If you want a vulnerable man, you must want a weak man. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. And to answer your question, Jeff, yes, if you're vulnerable, you're weak. You know. He put, as a gay male, the toxic masculinity can often lead to physicality in an unhealthy man. Before I came out, my female relationships were balanced by showing that vulnerability, but didn't lose my strength. In the industry, I held back my vulnerability and my sexual based around the concept that in order to be a man, I couldn't show weakness. No, I mean, that's basically what it is to be a man, is being strong, emotionally, physically, not showing weakness.
Through adversity. Through the struggle,
through adversity, through struggle. Great words.
You got the
great words. Yeah, no, those are
you
great
coming
words.
up. You doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta stay strong, because if you don't stay strong, you become vulnerable to whatever comes after that. And if that happens, you become weak.
You become weak if you can't face that adversity, that struggle, those obstacles.
So men should be able to hold and should be able to perform when you're
under that pressure
against the wall.
Yeah, under that pressure.
Right. Pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah, pressure makes diamonds, y'all, and that's why we make this show. So don't let, especially for the young men, because I've been seeing men that a lot of young men, Juan, are being easily manipulated by the way that social media pushes this narrative that it's okay for men to be vulnerable. It's okay men to be emotionally open. No, it's not, man. And a lot of women like because that's the way that's how women work, right? For instance, the way that a man shows aggression is through physical violence, right? That's the way that we show aggression. After a certain amount of words exchanged between us, we're gonna fight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You say something to me wrong, I say something to you wrong. After we're gonna reach a limit. We're gonna be like, you know what, Zay, we gotta scrap. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But women,
words are not enough no more.
Or you know what I mean? Women, the way that they show aggression is by way of shaming, insulting.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Putting you down.
Guilting. That's their way. They can manipulate words. So for the young men that are listening, do not allow this false narrative of weak emotional men, of being able to be vulnerable in front of your woman, dictate the way that you conduct yourself as a man. Do not allow that, because we're telling you, you got men telling you here, no, that's not the way, especially if you have a family. That's not the way to conduct yourself, because you have a responsibility to be a leader to your family, and you got a responsibility to be a leader to your children and the people that look up to you. Because not only is your family looking up to you, the guy down the little boy down the block looks up. You don't know who you think is. You don't know who thinks you're cool. Yeah.
I think you went to the bathroom, bro. We was talking about that. Like I don't think, as a man, sometimes the impression we make on kids, we don't resonate in our mind. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate, because like the consistency got to be there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's not a statement. It's not one life lesson. It's a overall spectrum of what we do, right, and how we raise.
That you got to do. Yeah, you got to stay consistent. You gotta keep moving a certain way. Now, one thing that I'm gonna say, bro, like every man at one point they were vulnerable. Yeah, they dealt through this stuff. One, because a lot of us was raised without a mom, without a dad, without a father figure, somebody that's gonna push you, that's gonna lead you, is gonna. So, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna stay that way. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Now, personally, I've been to situations that I'm like, damn, like I'm being weak right now, you know. But those things, you got to look at them just like you look at yourself in the mirror before you push yourself to going to the next level. You got to assess it, create that foundation, and change it, you know, because you see that continue that pattern of being weak, being vulnerable, crying in front of your girl, being submissive in front of your girl, is gonna all that is gonna lead you to either one, she's gonna leave you, or you're gonna live in a happy life.
Yeah.
It's gonna be,
she'll run all over you. She'll
Right.
think that, fact. Or even worse, she'll stay with you, but now she answers for you. Now she speaks for you. Now when you go in a place of business, she's talking what you. Oh no, it's because he likes this type of stuff. And then men like us would be like, damn, does he not talk? You know, like, is he not capable of speaking? Like,
You know what's crazy is, bro? A lot of people run the adage of women don't know what they want to eat, right? But that falls back on you being the leader. Like, look, this is what we're eating tonight, or this is where we're going. You know what I mean? And it's that leadership part of it. And you know, the happy wife, happy life. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's cool. But in the same direction, bro, like, you have to put that foot forward to make sure that, you know what I mean, they're happy about it. So, and a lot of times, women want you to make that decision. You know what I mean? And we fall back on what you want to eat, what you want to do this. You know what I mean? Like, you got to take the initiative on being the man in that role or in that situation to
look. We eating KFC today. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying eat KFC. It's fried. Don't eat that. But I'm just, you know, you're right. And you're right about that. I'm glad you brought that up too, because that is an interesting concept. Happy wife, happy life. When ultimately, what makes your wife happy is you being on your purpose. Right. You putting yourself and what you need to do first.
That's what they fall in love in the first place with you.
Yeah, and not in a selfish way, like, oh, I don't care what my wife thinks. No, or my girlfriend.
That's a good point, because you still have to understand your spouse or your significant other, what their goals are, what they want to achieve in life. You know what I mean? And as a man, unfortunately, we have to kind of fall into that and make sure that, you know, they have certain goals or help achieve whatever they need to do. You know what I mean? And it's not about running over a woman. It's not about running over a woman. Yeah, you know, like, women have goals and women have certain substance, what they want to do, and you have to help them sometimes. You know what I mean? That's a part of us being a leader, being a man in the household, you know, different things like that. Like, you want to see your significant other achieve and be proud of whatever they want to do. And
that reflects on you, 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, look, if your girl's hitting everything, she's doing good, she's making money, and she's with you, like, if anybody sees that, they know that you had to do something with that.
Yeah, especially if you're a certain caliber of guy. Yeah.
You're like, okay, she didn't get to that place because by herself. Now, some women, they do because whatever, but a lot of them is because they had somebody in the back that then they don't post. They don't post them. They don't even talk about them, but you know that they said, hey, instead of doing that, you should be doing that.
And you know what? Obviously, you have a good female followers or whatnot, because they're obviously chiming in all that. But women, like, at the same token, you have to make your man feel grateful for what he did. You know what I mean? Like, we all want not necessarily acceptance, but we want to feel like, okay, what I did was valuable and grateful for what I did. Like, I didn't have to do this. You know what I mean? And I think that's a lot of disconnection with women that I find these days is feel like they're so independent that they don't realize, like, that man in your life really helped you out, get to them certain goals and strive to whatever you want to do. So just be grateful. You know what I mean? That's all we want. We don't want
we don't want all the credit.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want the accolades. We don't want all that, but just show
acknowledge
that.
Acknowledge it.
Yeah.
But
the
way
that they can acknowledge it, just say yes, thank you.
The way they can acknowledge it is via their actions. The way they conduct themselves when you're not around, and the way they conduct themselves when you are around.
So do you like the verbiage of it, or just the action of it?
What do you mean?
Like, do you like the thank yous and or you know, out the blue, listen, I appreciate you, what you did for me, or is it just her actions of it?
Well, really, it doesn't have to be that specific. Like, hey, thank you for, you know, doing this, especially when certain things are my responsibility, right? Like, for instance, you know, as a man, you have certain duties, but as a woman, you have certain duties. And, you know, is it nice to be thanked for the things that I do every once in a while? Yeah. But for instance, me, the way that I would want, you know, my wife to show me that she's thankful is by her performing her duties as a wife. You see what I'm saying? The way I perform my duties as a husband. because I mean, we all got our mistakes and our flaws, and sometimes you might not be able to appreciate that person the way she does. But really, and as cliche as it sounds, it'd be the little things, you know, like, you know, maybe she put a little bit of extra cinnamon in this, or she put a little extra this and that, or she took the time out to do a little bit extra something to this or extra something to that. Same thing when us men, of course, when a woman has earned this, because women got to earn chivalry, especially nowadays. You know, don't just be buying flowers for these women. Like, make sure she's earned that. You know, she's done things for you before, especially if you're just now starting to date. But I'm talking between a relationship with a man and a woman, they're already wife and husband. Make sure she earns those flowers. You know, make sure she earned that ring or that necklace, you know, or that new purse or those new sneakers or that new, you know, those new shoes or whatever. I think that there's a healthy balance. But as far as like really, hey, thank you for this and for that, I mean, I think thank you is just being polite, you know, because you can say thank you or you can even say I'm sorry and do it again.
But it's got to be sincere.
It's got to be sincere.
You know what I mean?
Because how many times are you going to be sorry for the same shit, you know? How many
And that
times
falls
are
on
you gonna
both
be
of us,
thankful?
male and female.
women,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like, you can't just fuck up all the time and just be like,
Yeah,
sorry.
nah,
You know what I mean? That was one of the things that kind of, as I grew older, I had to understand that, like, you can't keep fucking up and being sorry is going to fix everything. You know what I mean? And that's one thing I raised my kids on. Like, sorry is cool. You know, it's good to be apologetic, but at the same time, learn from that shit. Don't do it again.
Don't do it again. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I'd rather you tell me, hey, look, I'll never do it again, because for instance, like let's say, because you're the boss of your house, right? You're the CEO of your home. I don't want my employer to come in there and be like, yo, I'm sorry, I'm late. Now he's like, hey, look, I take full responsibility. It'll never happen again. Okay, if it shouldn't happen again. If it does, there's going to be repercussions, you know? And that's how I think that, you know, as men, we should conduct ourselves, especially with our children. Like, hey,
that's
look.
You know, that's the raising of your kids, or like I'm a real dad. You know what I'm saying? If anybody really knows me, like, I'm a real dad. You know what I mean? But that's the consequences of your actions. You know what I mean? And it's got to be instilled in them that, look, there's a consequence for everything you do, whether it's good or it's bad. You know, and as long as they understand that concept, then it makes raising your kids a little bit more better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of us, going back to you, bro, I hate pulling everything on you. This is your podcast, so we won't run it on you. But, like, I seen your transition. You know what I'm saying? I remember when, we're not going to name no names, but you got into it with somebody.
Yeah.
They was putting their, or either you was putting your stickers up on something.
Oh,
hold on, listen, hold on. We're not going to get it. But I'm just using it as a, you know what I'm saying? It was an example. But at the same time, like, you had to understand what the fuck you was doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so your consequences falls to a reaction or whatever it is. And it's just like, you have to instill that in people. And that concept of there's a reaction for every consequence. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is.
Yeah,
like, that's just life, period.
You got to understand what it is that you're doing and the consequences that come with what you're doing.
Definitely.
Right.
You know,
men
and
or
that's-
women. Those are
men
men
or
or
women.
women.
Yeah,
Yeah.
men or women. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, hey, at the end of the day, you're the one that's responsible for what you
Hey,
do.
but you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that shit.
All right.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Hey, but
I look back at it, man, and I'm glad, bro. You got no idea how many DMs I got that was just like, yeah, no, this gonna go too far. Like,
No,
at
I'm
least
proud of you, bro.
people,
Like, real
no.
shit. Like, you know, like I said, bro, I've seen your transition, bro, and it's remarkable, bro.
I
And
appreciate
it's
that,
commended,
man.
bro.
I appreciate that, brother. And you know, I don't want to make this too much about me because it is about you two gentlemen. But
It's your show.
Once
That's why it's called Hector Jesus.
Show.
Yeah.
once you look at yourself in the mirror a certain way, man, and you realize you know who you want to be and who you are, you start to make a transition.
I think
like
that's
that.
just maturity. You know what I mean? And that's just growth on being a person. I'm gonna tell you one thing I learned about myself, and this is just me speaking on myself, and it's, you know, take it how you want to take it. We was raised, especially if you was out here and you have a resume out here, take it for what it's worth. We didn't think we was gonna get to a certain age, right? So then, because that's how we was taught, you know what I mean? But when you hit that certain age, it's I think people call it, what is it called? Midlife crisis or whatever. I don't even think it's that, bro. I think it's a reinvention of yourself, because you only thought you was gonna be this age and then it was over for you. So when you hit a certain plateau or a certain age, then you have to reinvent yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do the same things you did when you was 19, 20, you know what I mean? Because you just live reckless. So then once you realize, I'm gonna be here for a while, Like you have to reinvent yourself and understand exactly what your life goals are. You know what I mean? Long term. And, you know, falling back to what you were saying, like having a plan is cool, but if you don't execute your plan, like it's a thought at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So once you get your plan together, really figure out the second part of that plan to execute it. You know what I mean? People hit me every day and like, oh, I want to do this. I want to do that. Okay, well, how do you want to execute it?
Right.
I don't really know. Well, then at this point, it's a thought. Like that's not even a fucking plan. You know what I mean? So once you get your plan together, figure out the execution part of it and make it happen.
And that goes with the fundamental formula, actually.
Now that's why when you said it, I didn't want to interrupt you because I felt like, it was important for you to really get all 7 steps out.
Yeah, because you put that into everything, man. And that can apply to anything that you do in your life. You got to have a foundation. You got to form a plan. You got to put a structure on that plan, create a system. You know, you got to have order in that system. You got to hold yourself accountable to the system you created and the order you're going to keep. And then you have to stay focused to ultimately execute that plan, you know, because if not, then again, it's going to be these, like, a lot of people, oh, I'm manifesting. You can't manifest anything if you don't put the work.
Right.
You know, manifestation don't exist without work. It's a thought. You know, you can wake up and say, I'm going to be rich every day. But if you don't take in the steps, reading the books, following the people who are already rich, you know, we talk a lot about mentorship. We talk a lot about if you want to be a soccer player, look who the best soccer player is. If you want to be a chef, go to the best restaurant, talk to the chef, dress like a chef, act like one. You know what I mean? Breathe that shit. Like, I'm not going to go with a business with a CEO in a soccer outfit or a chef outfit. I'm going to dress up in a suit.
And you know, the thing about it is I think a lot of people disregard blueprints. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying follow step by step, but like look at different blueprints, right? And establish what kind of works for you. You know what I mean? And then implement all them different things to incorporate your blueprint.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, use everybody as an example.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Because everybody's blueprint not gonna work for you. You know what I mean? But if you look at 5 different blueprints and take 2 or 3 things from each blueprint and then implement it to whatever the fuck you're trying to do. And that's why banks and these businesses don't give out big money unless you have a business plan.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the whole thing of it is have yourself a plan, execute it.
Yeah. And you're right. Like, you can't go to a bank without a business plan.
Not at all.
A business loan. Like, it's not, they're not going to take you seriously. Like, or you got it on notebook paper. Like, you know what I'm saying? On a fucking spiral notebook. And he's like, yo, look, this is my plan written in pencil. Like, you got to have like a nice, you know, something.
If you don't know what's the good and the bad in your own business, what would you go to ask anybody to believe in your business?
And the thing is, one thing I learned is people are not going to give you $1 million if they don't feel like you know what to do with $1 million or had $1 million. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have that structure. You have to have that blueprint. You know what I mean? You had to either execute or you had some type of what's the word I'm looking for? You've done it before. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to invest my money. Experience, you know what I mean? Like, no one's going to invest their money into a dream, unfortunately. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people out here, there's a lot of hedge funds. There's a lot of people with money that want to invest their money, but in the same token, like, they have to have a return. Don't expect somebody to give you a certain amount of money and they don't want a return or their money back.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's a concept that a lot of us have fucked up is you see your homie or a family member or something with some money that you feel like you can get some money from. Be wise enough and responsible enough that you give them a return back, or
respectful enough.
Yeah, exactly. Where they getting a return, you know, you're making money off their money, give them their money back. You know, and it even runs to the streets. Somebody throw you something, bro, make sure they get their bread back.
Right.
Like, that's all us really want is if we take a chance on you, make sure that the return is there.
I mean, that's the basic, that's the basic blueprint for a business plan with somebody, for somebody giving you a loan. Like, hey, look, man, I need that money back. For sure. You know, I don't care how you get it, but I need it back, and I need it in a timely fashion.
Be responsible about it. You know what I mean?
Responsible. But that's how, like, a lot of people, they fuck up some money, and now they're in debt. Now they owe the bank this much, or the return wasn't there. Their plan, their foundation wasn't right, so they can't. The return isn't back.
Right.
Like,
they don't understand the risk.
Yeah.
Everything about what they're trying to do. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and we appreciate everybody tuning in, y'all. Man, like the video, you guys. You
know
know
what's crazy was? I knew we was gonna get here and go all the way left. Not all the way left, but I knew this was the conversation we was gonna go just from seeing y'all shit. Like I already knew this wasn't gonna be about fashion. It wasn't gonna be about certain things, and that's really why I did the shit because I knew we was gonna talk about.
That's the best part, though.
Yeah, for sure. The importance of running a business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Being successful at certain.
because I mean
things.
you've been in business for what, going on 10 years maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I would have took a lot of lefts. Yeah. And, you know, one of my big things and one of my attributes is, and what I like to do is I felt like when I first started, a lot of people didn't give me information that they should have, and they made me pay for that information. You know what I mean?
But see, it goes like that too, Kaya, because, you know, speaking again about mentorship, what we tell people too, if sometimes you got to pay for those words, you know,
Certain things.
it's just being about making sure that it's worth listening to and worth paying, because you'll fuck around and pay for the wrong information.
You know what it is certain information.
Restart mine too.
Certain information that people could have gave me that they didn't have no gain in it. You know what I mean? You wasn't gonna make no money off of it. You wasn't gonna lose no money off of it, right? So, this is I'm not gonna say my downfall, but this is one of my weaknesses. Is I look at certain people and I kind of see their motivation and see what they're trying to do, and I give them information that not necessarily I shouldn't have gave, but they don't respect it or they don't utilize it. You know what I mean? And then it's wasted information when I should have used it on somebody else who really was going to apply it to what their goals was and to be successful. You know, and that's one reason, like, not putting Zay on the spot, but that's why I fuck with Zay so heavy. You know what I mean? Like, Zay really came at me. I seen what he was trying to do. He put dedication into it. He had a plan. He executed that plan. Now he's one of the dopest, definitely the biggest battle rapper from here in the city. Like, Zay's being humble. I don't know if y'all really know. Like, Zay's done London 2-3 times. He travels places, gets paid to really do it, to perfect his craft. But just like I was telling Zay the other day, we had a conversation on the phone. Sunday, he just did a battle rap. There were so many people who was fumbling their words, and it was not their execution part of it. Zay put the time in. He executes. He doesn't fumble his words. He understands exactly what his thing is. He puts practice in it. He homes his craft the whole nine. And I see it back in, and they don't see that. You know what I mean? They see the end result and don't understand like what it takes for us to really execute what the fuck we're trying to do.
And I'm gonna tell you something, Kaya, is and this goes for you though, Zay, but I'm saying to both of y'all. For him to say that about you, you know, it lets me know that, because you could have easily been like, yeah, no, I'm the best, blah blah blah. But for him to say that about you, that's somebody vouching, and I think that vouching is something important too. You know, like in the clothing business, the ones that control it is the Arabs and the Jews, right?
Definitely,
and the Koreans. One thing that I learned about the Arabs is when they're in the jewelry business, right? They vouch for each other. For instance, let's say you got the dough. I've done business with you before, and I'm like, yo, you know what, Juan? He's a good guy. He wants to get some jewelry. He wants to get into the jewelry game. Do this for him. You'll give him, let's say, $100,000, $200,000 worth of jewelry. But there's a thing, I can't remember the word for it, but they call it something good faith, a good favor, where he's going to pay you for the favor you did for him. Definitely. It's not interest, because interest grows as the time, but this is just like, okay, I'll let you, I'll give you $200,000 worth of jewelry, but you owe me $250,000 for the favor. So now he'll come back, which in the jewelry game, like you know, I want to get somebody to really like sit down and like break it down, but this is just a really rough. Who?
Tiff.
Who that?
Man, the biggest jeweler out here, bro.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna set you up with him.
Okay, yeah, set me up with him. We'll talk after the show.
For sure. He do all my shit.
Okay, cool.
You know what it is I think people don't value relationships. You know what I mean? Like,
Relationship is one of the most, and not to interrupt you, Kaya, but we say this a lot too. Net worth, a network over net worth. It don't matter how much though is the relationship we got between. Because, for instance, you might, like right now, your boy Tiff, you might point me to Tiff. We might have another amazing podcast. I might point you out to another guy that has a show, and boom, now you're on his platform. So it's like that net worth, that good relationship.
Definitely.
He came early. For those, Kaya came early too. I want to thank, and you know what, I'm gonna take the time out to give you a round of applause.
What did he say? Why did he come early? What did he say? because that's important. That people need to understand that he respect our time, and we need to understand how to respect everybody's time.
Nah, they set me up. You know what it was? They was like, man, we gonna start the podcast at 8:30. We get here, they talk about 9. We was here at 8. You know what I mean?
You know how it is,
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean?
And you know what?
But we just know what we deal with.
Yeah, but let me go ahead and get that to not only you guys, but everybody who's come on the platform. They all get here on time.
Yeah.
All of them have been here on time since we've been inviting people here. And I want to appreciate y'all personally for coming on time and coming early. Even the ones who I've expected to come late has come early, bro, for real.
Yeah, nah, he hit me 3 times. Like,
Yo.
bro, you gonna be here at a certain time? I'm like, yeah, bro, I got you, bro.
And they'll come early for the respect for the platform. And for that, I appreciate y'all. And I appreciate everybody who's been on the platform who come early because, yeah, it's a show of respect. And there's some things that are
that goes a long way, man.
it goes a long way, man, because that impulse, although I mean, every man should be on time. A man who's on time is late, and a man who's early is on time. You know, it makes you want to display the same amount of respect for somebody else's stuff, man.
Yeah, but you know what? I've seen a lot of guests that you have on here, and you know, a lot of respect to you because, like I said, bro, I hate to keep falling back to your music shit, but it's just like the music circle is really fucking small. Like the industry shit is really small, and the people you pick, bro, are real professionals at what we do. You know what I mean? From 20 to fucking Stacks to, you know what I'm saying? All these people, like relationships. They know that you are about your shit. You're not gonna be, on no bullshit, and it's the respect factor because even 20, like me and 20 got a real relationship. Like, and I don't think a lot of people know, like, me and 20 are really, like, really, really close, right? And it's the same thing. I know 20 don't do certain shit. You know what I mean? I know Stacks don't do certain shit. You know what I mean? So them being on your shit, it speaks volumes on you. You know what I mean? Right. So I think a lot of that music shit that you did back in the day, like, it's really kind of not groomed you or at least give you some knowledge of the shit. And I respect you, bro. Like, real shit.
I appreciate you, brother.
Like I said, we bumped into each other the other day. Yeah. And I was like, look, bro, I see you. I see what you're doing. I love it.
You was at the conference, the
Hornets
concert.
Hey, man, hey, one time for Chuck T, man.
One time for Chuck T, yeah.
If y'all don't know Chuck T, man, get in tune. He does a music foundation class, and it's not just about music, bro. It's about the whole business structure of it. You know what I mean? His background is music, so he kind of tailors more to the music side of it. But in the same token, like, he talks about doing copyrights, doing trademarks, you know what I mean? Paperwork, all that. And that applies to business. Yeah. You know what I mean? His
information is super valid.
Super crazy.
A lot of people don't understand how big Chuck T is. Like, in the music scene here in Carolina.
What it is, and I told Chuck this the other day, it's like he's too accessible to everybody because he feels like he has to be available to everybody. People kind of take it for granted. You know what I mean? Like, you can hit Chuck T right now and he'll answer the phone or, you know what I mean? Whatever. And it's just like,
I'm trying to get him on the show, man.
Look, I got you. Don't trip.
Talk to him,
don't
man.
Trip.
I've spoken to him and stuff like that. I'm trying to get him on the show, man. I'm trying to get Chuck. There's a lot of guys that I'm trying to get on the show, man. Actually, and shouts out, let me go ahead and give Chuck T a power up and a jewel, man. For inviting me to the show, to the conference thing, because I did meet a few guys too that we're gonna get on the show that are really, really soon. I know the holidays are up. Everybody's with their family. Thanksgiving coming, Christmas coming, so everybody wants to be with their family. But for 2023, man, if God gives us breath and God gives us grace, we're gonna continue the Hector Jesus show because, in our opinion, bro, this is very important for these youngins to understand and to learn and to listen to, even if they just peep in for a couple minutes. I mean, this whole conversation.
If you only see a clip, bro, that's.
I mean, we're posting 15-second clips on Instagram.
Look, this is what we're about to do. We're about to call Chuck right now, and we're gonna put him on the spot. And we're gonna make him commit right now.
Pressure makes diamonds.
Yeah, look, this is
Shouts
what
out
it's
Chuck
about.
T, baby.
Look, hey, look, we about to put Chuck on the spot. That way he can't say no.
Put it on the mic so they can hear. So for the listeners,
he go to bed early too. What is it, Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday.
My boy probably sleep. Let's call his other phone.
And you know, it's crazy. You could connect it to the to this, and we can hear it. We can hear the phone call on the thing. Yeah, shit. Do it on the thing. It's called Rollcast.
Hey, you know, FaceTime shit. So people will be like, "Dang, I don't want to answer that right now."
Nah, you know what it is.
You can hear us.
I don't know if y'all know, like, and I probably shouldn't say this on there, but Chuck is a real dad. Like he's his son has autism. You know what I mean? And like he really takes care of JoJo. Like he's up 5 a.m, making sure breakfast is cooked, taking them there. You know, the whole nine. Like, wow. and I don't know if y'all know anybody that has kids with disability. Like, it really is.
It's a different, yeah.
It's a different whole structure. I'm not gonna say it's a strain, but it's definitely stressful.
Yeah, it's a different kind. You got to be a different father. You got to show a different amount of patience. Yeah. I don't, but I knew a lady who lived in my neighborhood whose daughter was like disabled, but like disabled. Like she could walk and stuff like that, but she couldn't talk. She had to eat through some stuff, like, you know what I mean? So her mind was like a child, but she was already like 15 or something. Mine was like a child. Funny because she'd call us crazy. She'd be like, we couldn't talk. But dope is like, it seems like they have like the craziest personalities, bro. Like they're the most happiest. They're the most like, you know, like so much enthusiasm and like excitement in them, and it's crazy. I mean, this little girl, you know, one of the happiest persons I ever met. Yeah. You know, we're stressed out and
they don't have a care in the world.
No, hell no, they don't.
They enjoy life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think, like I said, man, I got a lot. Me and Chuck's known each other for maybe 20 years. Mm-hmm. So my opinion on Chuck T is way different than a lot of people's opinion is. I hear people talk about, oh, bro, he don't want to do this, he don't want to do that. But his thing is,
that's lame niggas though.
Yeah,
that's people who don't understand the
you know what
the
it
grind.
Is? It's a lot of people that don't. One thing about Chuck, bro, if you put the effort in and he sees the effort and that you're really serious about your craft, like he picks shit up for nothing. You know what I mean? He'll put you on spin your hits. He'll make sure if anybody comes in, he speaks up highly of you. You know what I mean? And it's that, I don't know what it's called. I guess the expectations of certain things that they see him at. But if you're not doing the right thing, what do you want this man who is a real gatekeeper in this music shit to really put effort into you?
And I'll tell you this much, Kaya, as far as the whole gatekeeping thing that you just mentioned, there's people that have that same position and they won't listen to you, no matter how good you are. And they won't hear you out and they won't respect your work because there's some sort of ego there. And from the few times that I've dealt with Chuck, I've never felt that. Never. I've never like got that kind of experience to where it's like, yo, what's up with this dude? Like never, like it's always like, okay, no, I got to come correct. I got to put forth work. You know, there's never been a situation. Plus the DJ is that as an artist, that got to be your best friend.
Best friend.
If you're an artist, you know, and this is a game for the ones who are tuning in who are artists. If you're an artist, the DJ better be your best friend. And you got to have some dough to give him. And you might think, well, I'm going to give this man money for what? Because he's the one who's going to spin your record. Yeah. He's the one who's going to play it if it's hot. Now, if your shit is trash,
if your shit is trash, you got to.
It don't matter, yeah. But if it's hot and you know you got something good and you're putting forth the work and you're putting forth the effort, you know that you got your music already on the streaming platforms where they need to be. You got visuals. You're promoting your stuff. You're active on Instagram. From my few experiences with Chuck, he gonna play your shit. The business is right. He gonna play your shit.
Business is right. He's saying. And you know, getting back to paying DJs. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if anybody know, like DJs are my strong point. Like this is, you know, my relationships I built with DJs over the years. It's not about paying them. It's about the respect factor because 17 people done came to them that night and said certain shit, and you got to get on their radar. You know what I mean? Like meet and greets, these showcases, all this stuff that we do. Not necessarily you have to pay us to perform or whatever, but be there. You know what I mean? If you want that same support from them DJs, you got to support these DJs.
Yeah, go to the events, go to where they're at. Yeah,
for sure. And it's you know, it's as simple as buying them a drink, introducing yourself, and keep it moving. You know what I mean? Like club atmospheres are not the right situation for you to be hollering at a DJ in their ear. You know what I mean? So that's why these events that we hold, these are the opportunities for you to build a real relationship with them. You know what I mean? You have a one-on-one with them, build that rapport, you know, stay on top of different things. And it's just falls back to your network is your network. You know what I mean? And it's that whole relationship thing. I get a lot of shit done off relationships. Like, you know, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Just like you get shit done off your relationships. You know what I mean? Because we respect the fact that what you do. Now, if you half-ass shit, we see that shit. Don't think this isn't the first time we seen somebody half-ass some shit. You know what I mean? So you have to be consistent. You have to be genuine with the shit. You know, and unfortunately, sometimes with this music industry or industry period, even fashion, all that shit, like you have to get their attention with monetary wise. And it is what it is. Like, don't get in this business. Don't think all us don't get paid for certain shit we do. Like, this is how we feed our kids. This is how we feed our families. So respect that part of it. But at the same time, we're going to respect what you do. You know what I mean? So, you know, just take that heat.
It's because it's easier to respect when you're putting forth the effort. And sometimes the effort you're putting forth comes in the form of a few dollars.
Definitely.
But that's just showing for the serious people. But that's when your senses has to be keen. Where am I investing my money? And am I investing it correctly when it comes to these fields? Like, you know what? I'm going to invest it in this person because I know that this person is the gatekeeper to where I want to be. But it's okay because it might be 100, 200, 3, but I know where my money's going.
And you know, John is our biggest example of how to blow here in the city. You know what I'm saying? And when John and them was first really start running, you got to understand, them boys was in posters.
I saw stickers everywhere.
Everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And even me and Chuck T was talking. He used to go to running Chuck T, be like, here's 200. I know it's prime time. Please play my record. You know what I mean? And after that, Chuck really started really pushing behind him because he seen the overall vision of it. The promo, the getting busy out here, respecting DJs, showing up, supporting, you know, that whole nine. That takes you a fucking long way out here in this music business.
And you said a key, respecting the DJ.
Yeah.
And even 50 said this live on Hot 97. He said, notice, because they were talking about him, how he was beefing with all artists. They were blaming him for breaking up New York hip hop scene, right? He said, if you notice, I've only ever beefed with artists. You never see me going at a DJ.
Definitely.
Because I understand that the DJ is the gateway to where I want my music played. You know, you never see me beefing with a disc jockey, beefing with the radio personality. It's always with artists. Because artists don't control what I do. But the DJ controls how many times my music. Someone won't do business with you just because they don't like you. No matter how good the deal is. If they don't like you, they're like, I don't like him. They won't do business with you.
And you know the thing about it is, it's not all about money with us sometimes. You know what I mean? Because you got to understand, a lot of us are already straight, and we have a imprint or a footprint in this industry. So, monetary wise, we get paid on a lot of back end things from people that you'll never know existed. You know what I mean? And artists have to realize, like, especially coming up, we're established in this game. You're not established in this game. You know what I mean? So you got to curve your ego and understand. Like me and this artist, you know, I'm not gonna name names, but we was talking, and I was like, damn, I ain't seen you at the meet and greets, because we do a lot of meet and greets. All the new artists that come through here, you already know, me and Chuck do the meet and greets. You know what I mean? And I'm like, look, it's not about you performing; it's about you being there and just showing your face. You know what I mean? Showing support to certain things, getting things done. You don't have to perform at every showcase we do. You don't have to pay to do all that. But you can come and show up and pass out flyers and speak to certain people while you're there. Because we have influential people at every event we have. You know what I mean? And it's not about getting signed that day. It's about building that relationship. So
building a rapport,
yeah. You know what I mean? And it's different.
But people don't want to put in that footwork, man, that traffic, man. And this Steven spoke about this the other time, Steven the Dream.
Man, shout out to Steven.
Yeah, shouts out Steven.
I love that.
He's in the gang. 20's in the gang. These guys, you know what I mean? They
I'm trying to get in the gang.
They definitely drop jewels.
All them in there. I'm trying to get in the gang too.
They definitely drop jewels, bro. And he said something very important. I was sending 20 messages a day to different people, you know, just to be like, just for someone to say yes to me. And now he's the one that says yes or no. Same thing with 20. He said, now, you know, he said something dope. He said yes and no. Either gains or denies access, and which is dope, because you being able to understand that, like, you know what, it don't matter how many no's I get, I'm gonna get one yes, and that grants you access at that point.
So listen to this. One of my concepts with just life and business overall is I'm a 10% person, right? So what is 2.3 million people in the city? So if 10% of my city spend $5 with me, right? That's my meal ticket a year.
Yeah.
Right. So I can walk into a room and be 10 people. If one person fuck with me, I did what I was supposed to do. You know what I mean? And I think people overlook the fact that not everybody's gonna like you, and it's cool. You know what I mean? And not everybody's gonna either feel your brand or whatever you got going on, but don't hesitate to get that one person in there. You know what I mean? And you gotta not necessarily start small, but you have to take steps and you have to execute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's my overall on the thing. People be like, oh, Brian, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Because my city loves me and my city respects what I do. And I can feed my family off just being in my city. I do 16 cities. You know what I mean? Raleigh, Columbia, Atlanta. I do a Carolinas one. And all them help perpetuate me getting to a certain number that I want to hit every year. You know what I mean? And it's just like you gotta be able to execute. I know y'all tired of hearing that shit, but that's the truth.
Gotta do it.
You gotta execute.
Hey, bro, that doesn't translate only to the music, because all I listen to like right now, like you guys talking about music and everything, and I'm personally, bro, like I've never been involved in music or nothing like that. I mean, I'm involved in business, you know what I mean? But everything translates to that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta put in your miles, you gotta put in your reps.
Yeah.
You know, in order to get any type of result, you gotta get it. So all the no's, all the talking to him, talking to them, to whatever is gonna lead you, is gonna open the door to whatever you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, like you know, that 10% shit is real in my life. Like I really live by that 10% rule.
And that's exactly what we like. Every time we talk, just Hector and me, we say it doesn't matter if it's 1,000 people listening to us or just one person listening to us. We do it for the one person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So same thing. If you have your business, if it's only one person fucking with you, 100% you did what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
And you know the thing is, just because I do the fashion thing, people have to feel comfortable with spending money with you. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with you. You're not gonna go somewhere and spend money and they're not appreciative or grateful for the money you spent. You know what I mean? Because we work hard for our money. There could be other things I do with my money, but it's, you know, be grateful if people support you or people are
taking their time to listen to you,
into
to look at you, put the clothes
all
on.
My bad.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
water. Been drinking too much water. But
So look, we take shots. Everybody gonna do a shot one time?
I'll take a shot with you guys. I'll take
Come
a
on,
shot.
man.
Nah,
Come
I'm
on.
good. Nah,
One
I'm
shot.
Come on, Hector. Come on,
Come
take a
on,
shot,
you guys.
man.
One shot, bro.
All right, I'll take one shot with you.
Look, I done brought bottles for us. I was celebrating with y'all today. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna bring the shot.
All right,
Let's
let's
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But yeah, man.
we do it Tito.
no, I'm doing
I'll do tequila.
Y'all
bro.
do tequila?
I'll do one, but
Hey,
really,
look,
bro, a
don't-
little bit. I don't want
don't-
to hear just like really small. G, I don't want.
Don't tell nobody why I brought this tequila.
You know what I'm saying? Oh no, we gonna tell her, yo.
Don't tell everybody why I brought this tequila.
I'm pretty sure it's Juan.
Quan.
Yo, that was funny though. But nah, yeah, man, Kai, yo, I appreciate you coming, bro. Yeah, you know, you're right. It's relationships, man. It's building a relationship, being able to, even something as small as having a conversation like we're having, which you can't overlook it. This is an important conversation that we're having. I mean, it's dope because we bring what's that?
Woo. He brought the tequila.
Something.
What are you looking at it like that? You're looking
brought
at
it-
it like you're scared or
And
something.
you only
Nah, it just I
Don't be
did,
weak, boy.
I did my fair share. I did my fair share of sipping back in the day, man. You know,
But look, it's 2023, man. Let's slip now.
you know, I was a
Hey,
Henny.
look, you ain't gotta go that far.
I was a Henny sip. I used to go by the Henny sipper, the panty ripper that never tipped her.
Man, let me go to Puerto. No, I wanted to go to Puerto Rico, but you went way too crazy.
Nah,
Come on.
DR is where you want to go.
Ooh.
Come on, Hector. Here you go.
Hey, look, man. I know this your show, but I'm gonna figure the toast out, man. Look.
Yeah. We'll do a toast. Yeah,
Hey, look,
let's
hey,
do
look,
a
this
toast.
toast to you, bro. Just your whole transition, bro.
Oh, my brother, I
Just-
appreciate
just-
you, man.
just-
Thank you, man.
Just
I
the
appreciate
overall for you, bro.
I
Real shit.
appreciate you, man. Thank you for real.
Nah, I
Thank
appreciate
thank
you, man. Having me, bro. Ugh. Jesus.
That was smooth.
not really.
We're gonna power up, man.
Power up.
But yeah, man. So, shit, we covered everything.
I'm about to say, did we
Nah,
cover
we-
everything
Yeah,
today?
it's funny.
everything,
It's funny because we covered everything without even asking any questions, and you answered every question we had planned for you too, man. Because we didn't want to make it about, because this is one thing, and I think the lives are paused, but our cameras are still working, so we good. We don't want to make it about rap, the show, like all interviewing artists, more so the steps that people are taking to get to where they're getting,
Right.
or the steps that people are taking in order to get
Or
to
they
where they
took.
want to get, or they took, you know, because it's important, bro. You're right. People show the success on Instagram. People show the success on TikTok, but they don't show how hard they had to work to get there.
How long it
You
took.
know, how long it took.
How many
I'm
no's
10
they
years
had to
in.
listen.
You see what I'm saying? And they don't know how hard you had to grind. They just see Charlotte everywhere.
Yeah.
They see this brand there, because this is everywhere. When I say I see stickers that hit all over the city, bro. All over the city, man. I mean,
Before I met you, I also saw that. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, and I was like, man, like, that shit look cool. Like, I was like, where'd they get that at?
I tell you this much. My mom don't like the shirts I got from you.
Yeah.
The guns. She's like,
You know what it is? I'm gonna tell you the truth. My mom don't like it either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Moms don't like it.
Because my kids wear it. Let me backtrack. First of all, before I let my kids wear it, I had to definitely give them the information, because if they get stopped in the street and somebody say, "Why you got the gun on?" Like, they have to understand exactly what the mission statement is for our company, exactly what we represent. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily, the streets gravitated to me. You know what I mean? Because certain things we do, certain backgrounds we have, resumes we have. So that's what it is. But at the end of the day, bro, just as I tell my kids, just as that person has the freedom of speech to speak to you, that's the First Amendment. The Second Amendment is right to bear arms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you have to understand that we protect our household. You know what I mean? So that falls in line with the amendments. You know what I mean? That's our constitutional right for us to bear arms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now do it the right way. Get
Do
your
it the
paperwork
right
straight.
way, yeah.
You know, all the other stuff, don't buy. I'm not saying don't buy certain shit, but, make sure you got your paperwork right. You know what I mean? So if a cop pulls you over, then you understand what the fuck your rights are and exactly how to articulate to them so they're not uncomfortable.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's one of our big things with our culture. Falling back to tequila. Falling back to what you were saying about the rap shit. I don't think it's just rap.
It's
and that's
hip-hop
one
culture.
It's
It's a
culture.
culture, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's one reason why I brought Zay along today, was because I think battle rap is a part of our culture that we kind of neglect sometimes. Not necessarily with you, because you definitely was on your shit with the battle rap. But to me, I wasn't into battle rap until I met Zay. You know what I mean? And I understand that
Did Zay leave or he outside?
he had to do something.
He had to bounce.
Yeah.
Okay.
He on a time schedule.
Yeah, yeah.
But with him is he really shined a light on that part of the culture for me. Did I know battle rap was part of our culture? Yes, I did. You know what I mean? But I understood it more
How
once
deep it goes. Yeah, it goes
exactly.
deep.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And I seen the artistry part of it. I know what he puts into it, and I know the time that he does to perfect his craft. You know what I mean? And it all falls back to everything. Just like Travis Bravo with the photography part of it. Chuck with the DJ shit. You know what I mean? All that stuff adds up to what our culture is.
I mean, there's 5 elements to hip hop.
Tell us.
You know, first and foremost, the DJ, the MC, the break dancer.
Yeah.
But now, it's a different dance.
It's a
not
different
breaking,
dance.
but it's still part of the
It's
culture.
still part of the culture.
You see the kids on TikTok dancing to every record.
My son
You
is fucking. He dances all the time. I got an 8-year-old too. A lot of people know him because he's into the culture, and I don't think he knows he's part of the culture. Like, he DJs right now. Like, he gets booked. He gets paid to do all that.
Your son do?
Yeah, the 8-year-old.
Wow.
And it was crazy because, like, when the pandemic hit, I don't know if y'all familiar with the Parking Lot Concert Series. Street Execs did in Atlanta, all that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
when they was out of school, I was on that run. So my daughter hates this shit, but my son loved it, right? So regardless of who the artist was, he would be sitting backstage, sitting on the steps. He paid attention to the DJs. Like, I don't give a who was on stage. He didn't even care. He's like zoned into the DJs. And one day he was like, "This is what I want to do." And I always kind of shied away from my kids getting in the industry because
How many babies you got?
I got 3.
Okay.
I got 2 boys and a girl. I got a 16, a 9, and an 8. You know what I mean? So when he told me that, I was like, I was super happy, but at the same time, because I always try to steer them away from the industry, just because of certain things I've been through.
That was my thing with my son.
Yeah,
because I saw him trying to, you know, he's doing everything that I'm doing. But see, when it comes to the rapper, like, and this is the unfortunate thing. This is my love-hate relationship with the culture.
Love-hate with the music.
Because, bro, the just the violence, you know, that comes with
definitely
the rap shit, you know, and there's a different envy to the rapper because you're in the spotlight. Everybody wants the spotlight, you know. You never seen producers beef with each other.
Right.
You know, you never seen like breakdancers beef with each other. I mean, maybe back in the day when it was like a breakdance team against another breakdance team, but as far as like the forefront is the MC, the mic controller, the rapper, right? I saw him, you know, doing everything I did, and cause he wanted. It's funny, yo. It's funny as fuck.
You smiling as hell, bro.
Yeah,
look at you. You're like, oh my god,
because
this is what I didn't want this to happen.
Gee, I'm a daddy, bro. Like I'm a dad. I'm a pops, bro. Like I didn't grow up with my dad. You know what I mean? And it's being there for him. You know, even though I know he doesn't understand sometimes, but he will when he's older. I
was just about to say,
if God allows it. If I do everything right, you know, I wanted to, because even to this day, like, for instance, he wants to rap to like instrumentals and shit, but you know, it'd be kid shit, like kid rhymes, you know what I'm saying? And it's funny, man, but it was that same thing, just like you said, like trying to stray them away from the industry, because we know what comes with it.
Sure, we
see it firsthand, like, yo, all the ups, all the downs, and it's like, damn, no, you don't want to be part of this. This is something else. But they lean towards that because they see their superhero, which is us, their fathers, you know, do that. And they want to be that. They want to be just like us. Even if we tell them, nah, don't be like me. Don't be like me. Who else are they going to be like? You know, they share our image. They share our merit.
Like you said, bro, it's a gift and a curse, bro. You know what's crazy, bro? You busted out the biggest smile just now.
That's my baby, man. Yeah, that's my baby boy. I love that boy, man.
I love
that boy. Yeah,
I love it.
It's different being a father. I think, you know, a lot of the people who are having negative comments about the things that I've been saying, some of them maybe don't have children, or don't understand how important it is for us to be strong as men, especially in front of our fathers. I mean, in front of our children as fathers, because, and you know, shouts out to Jose Rodriguez, who's going to be here December 4th. He said this in one of did a online interview with him. He said, bro, men, because this guy's like $6 million in like real estate property. This is a big time dude out of Jersey. He said, yo, bro, people, older guys, right? 40, 50 years old who are in the same business as I am, come to me and be like, hey, man, I need my son to hang around you. I want him to be like you. And he said, yo, I think to myself, well, why don't you want them to be like you?
Right.
Because there's some sort of insufficiency in you, you know, and that's the issue. That's where the weakness comes into play.
I was just about to say, look, this is where the vulnerability and weakness comes into play. 100%. Because as a man, if you're Dolph said, like, Dolph, one of my favorite artists, right? Dolph said, bro, if your son don't want to be just like you, you know what I mean? It's an issue. You know what I mean? And so if they're coming to you as, can you help me raise my son? Like, at the end of the day, that's what the fuck they're saying. Like, they might not articulate that, but if they're saying, look, I need my son, then it's an issue with you. You know what I mean?
Young.
And that's the difference between, I mean, personally, me, I know we did the definitions and all that shit, but that's the difference between being vulnerable and weak. You know what I'm saying? At that point, you're weak as a man. You know what I mean? And just like we talked, none of us grew up you grew up with your dad? So none of us grew up with our dad, right? So you know what I implement is, I might not know exactly what to do, but I know what not to do. You know what I mean?
And so smart enough to know.
Yeah, because the older I get, I knew what the fuck I was missing, and you know, I don't want my kids to miss that.
That's what leads me, bro. That's what leads me. That's what I tell everybody that I get encountered. Like, fuck, I work, bro. Like, everything that I'm doing right now is because, like, I know that I want to have kids one day. I know I want to have a wife one day, and everything that I do right now is because I wanna put them in the right position. I want to put them in. I don't want them to go through the same thing that I went through.
Yeah, but that falls
Fucking
back to the
30
same
years.
thing, bro. You got a game plan, and you know how to execute your game plan.
Right, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I respect that. I just met you tonight. I respect that.
'Cause
Now,
that's
this
that
dude right
weakness,
here,
bro.
I got hella respect for this dude. You know what I mean? Like, I really do.
That's why I fuck with them. Yeah.
I appreciate y'all, man.
No, you got a good
right,
partner,
yo.
bro.
That's that weakness that comes into play. Cause you're right. Because when they're kids, they want to be like you. And I keep saying this too. The real success is because sometimes you grow up and you realize your parents aren't who you thought they were.
Right.
But imagine growing up and your parents are exactly who you thought they were, boy. Like you grow up, you're 40, now you're 30 or 40, your father's 60, 70, and you're still looking like, damn.
That's that dude.
Yo, my pops is that.
Yeah.
Damn, bro.
Yeah,
that's
Like,
that
my
dude.
pop.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest problem I want my son to ever have is growing up and feeling like, damn, yo, how am I ever gonna measure to my father's shoes? He was so great.
Yeah,
I
you
think
know what?
That's a true issue that men need, that we lack no more. Now it's like, yo, I won't be nothing like that nigga. I don't fuck with him. And rather than, damn, bro, like, rather than a real issue, like damn, bro, how am I ever gonna be as great as my father? He was such a great man. What am I gonna do? And then that's when the mother comes and who is that? Is that me?
I don't know. I think I'm cute, bro.
Man, I thought y'all was turning y'all shit off. What kind of podcast?
I got it on the
is-
thing.
What
What kind of podcast is this?
What kind of operation y'all running over here, man?
Oh, that's you. That's your girl, boy.
Chill.
Oh, that man.
So
But that boy misses his 10:30 check-in.
You got your code, boy. You want to say that
He
live?
missed his 10:30
chill.
check-in.
We ain't even on live. I'm gonna cut this part
Hey,
out.
look, yeah, that boy missed that 10:30 check-in.
So yeah, man. But you know, imagine like being able to do that, and then the mother reassures him like, nah. Your father's
pops was-
proud of you. Your father's
nah.
proud of the man you became.
Yeah, for sure.
You're becoming. But that's a better relationship than I don't want to be nothing like him. Or I grew up without my pops. I turned out all right. Because there's
Sure.
people like that, bro.
Yeah.
You know that.
Look at us.
Yeah.
We just talked about it. All of us
Yeah.
didn't grow up with our pops, but we turned out, you know,
All right.
stand up.
Yeah,
You
but
know what I mean?
imagine if we did, and they were stand-up guys and taught us the way. We would have probably been still having this conversation, but more, you know what I mean? We probably would have been on NBC having this conversation. You see what I'm
Too
saying?
late.
Which is, that's the ultimate goal, but how important it is for us to maintain, you know, that tradition.
You know what's crazy, bro? I wasn't gonna bring this up. We had a real conversation off air. You know what I mean? Like we had a good 30-minute conversation just on some real ass shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's a thin line between us raising cul-de-sac kids, because that's what I got. You know what I mean? And having them understand the struggle. Because as parents and as a father, I don't want my kids to really necessarily go through the shit that I went through. But at the same token, like you said, struggle brings responsibility and, you know, grooms
molds a
men.
man, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, it's a thin line. And it's one of them things, bro, as fathers and as parents, you know, including the women and all that, you know, we have a responsibility and to make sure our kids don't struggle, but at the same time, we have to give them the knowledge to understand exactly what we've been through and what you could have been through.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucked up because I use a lot of my kids' friends as examples. Like, look, bro, they grew up in an apartment, bro. You never been in an apartment your whole life. That's one of the things that I've really proud myself in is my kids have never grew up in an apartment, never lived in an apartment, none of that. I grew up in apartments, so I kind of understand what it is. But at the same token, it's that thing. It's like how do we adjust so they understand the struggle part of it without giving them too much? And it's a gray area, you know what I mean? And it's tough as parents, like real shit. It's you know, we have a big responsibility and a big job to really groom these kids to be great adults, great citizens, and really keep them out of trouble. You know what I mean? My mom did the best she could. Did I stray away and do certain things? Yeah, I did. You know what I mean? But that was my decision because not necessarily she didn't do her right thing, but the effort and the time. As a single mom, she worked.
Yeah, there's only so much she can do as a woman to mold a young boy.
a man.
Yeah. Because I mean, women don't know how to raise a boy, and I grew up with a single mother too. You know, me and my sister, And my mother, same thing, bro, working, 15 hours a day,
Right.
8 hours here, 7 hours there, coming home at 3, 4 in the morning, having a quick little 3-4 hour nap, waking up, taking us to the bus stop, and, not knowing that, that balance.
Balance.
Because fathers is
word.
the ones that keep the sons out of prison, and fathers are the ones that keep the daughters off
the
OnlyFans. Yeah, off the pole. or OnlyFans.
Nah, it's crazy
nowadays,
because that's funny you brought it up, bro. That was like when I first had my kids and people was talking to me, I was like, look, my responsibility is to keep my son off the streets and my daughter off that pole.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I support the pole life. Don't get it fucked up. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, that's
I like to watch girls dance.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But unfortunately, that's the double side of it. Is yes, do I enjoy it? But at the same token, I have to make sure my daughter understands and has standards, expectations on exactly what a man is supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same thing with my sons. Is not necessarily. They have to understand what expectations are as a man, but my daughter has to understand what a man is supposed to do for her. Right. And that's the, it's the give and take. It's dicey.
I mean, you're her first love. You're the first person,
Male that she loves.
Yeah, they learn how to love by
Right.
way of their father. Otherwise, they just have an assumption of what love is supposed to be through the eyes of their mother. And if her mother didn't have a father, it turns out into the same thing. Like there's a cycle. And that's why you get that term daddy issues, because that is a real thing.
It's a real issue out here.
It is, man. And not only does it mess up the girls, but it messes up the boys too, because now you as a boy or as a young man, right, you're dealing with your life as a man without the guidance of a father
Or an example.
or an example from a father, and now you're dealing with a woman who didn't have an example of a father either. She doesn't know how to love or be loved, and you don't know how to love a woman, right? Or what you will and will not tolerate from a woman because you didn't have that example as a father. So now that cycle continues, because that's what happens. I mean, for instance, your father's the one that's supposed to tell you, you're supposed to go to your father and be like, yo, dad, how do I deal with this kind of situation? Your father sits there and tells you, you know what, son, you're young, you're only 20, give yourself a few years, then you take a woman seriously. Get yourself together, build yourself up as a man, understand who you are, who you want to become, where you've been, where you want to go. Build yourself up. Create some sort of value for yourself. Then you look for a woman. And once you look for that woman, understand what I will and what I won't tolerate from her. Sure. Set your boundaries, because a good way of telling what kind of man someone is by what kind of woman he has, because she's a reflection of you ultimately. Right. So if your woman is disrespecting you in public, 9 times out of 10 she disrespected you in private. And you allowed it to happen.
You allowed
if she smacks you in public, she'd smack you before.
Or she beat your ass in private.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I've seen that, bro. I
have too.
Bam. Or she's sitting there, or even as something as, for instance, if your woman says some shit disrespectful about something and you don't say anything, that's, for instance, there was a situation, right? Some woman came into the store and said, it smells musty in here. And in my eyes, I'm like, shit, bitch, I got $150 cologne on and like $300 worth of clothes. I know it ain't me, right? And something as simple as that, your woman ain't even supposed to be talking like that about anything. If it does smell that way, you're supposed to tell your husband, like, it smells kind of nasty.
Right.
Yeah, let's walk away. Can we go somewhere else? Some sort of like respect, self-respect, some sort of, because even blurting out something like that is so, it's like, it shows a lot about your self-worth.
Definitely.
For instance, if somebody smells, right? Let's say, and I don't want to use the other. I know you don't.
Now let's use Juan. Juan, hey, Juan smells today.
Don't come for me.
You feel me? Yeah. But let's just say,
I smell like nobody else smells out there.
Let's just say somebody smelled. Let's say I smelled.
You can use me at this point.
The right thing to do is Juan would be like, damn, bro, you stink. Like, nah, that's my boy.
Hold up, man. This Chuck too.
Oh, that's Chuck. Put him on the speaker.
Chuck.
Yo.
What's up, my boy?
Man, everything good with Papa with you.
Listen, we on Hector's podcast, bro. So you live, so you know. I just gonna give you the heads up.
Oh, okay. Hector Jesus, what's good?
Yo, what's up, Chuck? Man, I need you on the show, man.
Listen,
we need you on the show,
hey,
man.
look.
I knew you was gonna say
Listen, hey look, we on the show. They talking about you a hard person to get in touch with. Listen. I'm trying to get you to commit right now. While we're on this.
When the next time you film, bro? When the next time you film?
Look, man, we live every Sunday at 8:30 p.m. I know the holidays are coming up, so let's shoot for sometime early January.
However you want to do it. You know, shit, I'll be free.
Okay, no doubt.
Every other Sunday I'm free. We can do this coming Sunday.
Okay, that's a bet. We're gonna hit you up. I'm gonna hit you up on the DM, man.
My thing is, you said it too far out. I'm liable to have some shit pop up.
Okay.
All it takes is for somebody to call me and, hey, Chuck, boy, I'm trying to book you, yada, yada, yada. And then I'll be like, boy, I got to get this bag.
No. That's understandable, my brother. I already know you're trying to get to that bag, man. So,
Hey, look, Chuck. Hey, look, Chuck.
Sunday coming up.
how about this? What's today's date? Today's the
20th.
Today's the 20th. You want to shoot for the 27th?
Let's do 27.
That's a bet. 27th, 8:30. I'm gonna send you the info on IG.
Man, say no more.
That's a bet, my brother.
I got you.
Look, we done plugged the Reverb. We done plugged the Music Foundation. We plugged the Hornets Industry Night. Look, you owe them at this point.
Got you, man. Say no more. I'm gonna repay my debt on Sunday.
That's a bet, my brother. I see you on
All right,
Sunday,
we ain't
man.
gonna hold you up, bro. Love you, bro.
All right, love you too, Famo.
That's a lot.
There you go.
Bonus power up, man.
There you go.
Yo, they
There
gotta
you go.
like the video, man. Everybody
There
who
you
get in like the video, y'all. It's dope conversation every time, man. It never fails. Yo, Kai, I appreciate you coming, man. For real, man.
I appreciate y'all having me, bro.
And you know what? For that, I'm gonna take another shot, but I'm gonna take
Let's
it
get
off air. I'm gonna take it off air.
Hey, but look, the brand, I can see why the brand is so hot.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
right?
saying? I can see why the brand is hot.
Thank you, bro.
Because, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to say no more.
Yeah.
You know, like, you lead by example. You lead, like, you let your actions speak other than your words, you know?
I mean, I'll tell you this, Juan, and not to interrupt you. When I was making music, when I saw that brand and I saw everybody wearing, I said, it registered in my brain. I'm in this game. I gotta put that shirt on. That shirt is solidifying what it is to be from Charlotte,
Yeah,
bro.
for sure.
Cause you from Charlotte too, right, Kaya?
I'm from really
Hawaii.
not born in
He said Hawaii.
Yeah, I'm Hawaiian. I was born in Hawaii. Like I was telling Juan off air, is really I jumped off the porch and I figured out who I was here in Charlotte.
How old was you?
I've been here 26 years.
Oh shit!
You know what I'm saying? So like really
That's about how long I've been here.
Yeah,
too.
nah, this-
I was
like-
4 when I came.
now I figured out who I was here. You know what I mean? And really, I got a shirt that says "Made from Charlotte" or "Made in Charlotte," right? And people be like, "Oh, I ain't from Charlotte," but look, a lot of us was made in Charlotte.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
was made in Charlotte.
I
Yeah.
became a man here in
Yeah,
Charlotte.
for sure.
man.
Like I said, bro, this is where I jumped off the porch. I figured myself out at. I figured out what I wanted to do, who I kind of was. I'm still trying to figure out who I am. You know what I mean? And it's a
Work in progress.
Yeah, it's a work in progress every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I built a lot of relationships here. I think one thing I could pride myself on is like I stood tall. You know what I mean? I stand 10 toes down on what I do. I don't portray no bully ass, gangsta ass shit. Like I'm accessible. Like you know, you need help. You need to reach out. You need information. Like I'm one of them dudes. You know what I mean? Like
That's what it's about.
yeah,
Yeah.
I really started embracing the OG thing. You know what I mean? Like I used to be like, nigga, what are you talking about? But nah, I realized that kind of what my footprint is in the city, what I kind of do, and I made it a mission for me to really help people out. You know what I mean? And it falls back to that same thing. Like people could have told me certain things that avoided me spending money, and they didn't. You know what I mean? So any entrepreneurs out there, you want to deal with the fashion, you want to deal with the music, you got a hurdle in your situation, man, reach out to me. Everybody know. And it's this gift and the curse because I'm too accessible. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I want to see all us win. Like really. Like I think Charlotte is in a place right now where we got a lot of eyes on us, and if we don't do it correctly, we fumble the ball and then we fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nah, you're right. We definitely right there.
Right.
Right there in the spot, like that nice spot where we're about to shoot.
Yeah,
to
nah,
the top,
you know what it is? It took us a long time to get our identity. You know, we was either New York type shit or Atlanta shit.
Yeah.
And we had to figure out exactly what our mix was and what we did. And that falls back to Southside Ghost. You know what I'm saying? One time for Mac, bro. I love that motherfucker to death. You know what I mean? We don't do a lot of business because we bump heads a lot. But I think he solidifies exactly what the city is. He's from Nations Ford, born and raised here. He's got a certain sound. You know what I mean?
His name is what again?
Southside Ghost.
Southside Ghost?
Yeah.
I'm going to look him up.
Yeah, Southside Ghost. Like I said, he's on a nationwide tour right now with Primo Rice. Shout out to Primo for really picking him up. And I think that was more on Ghost effort than anybody else seeing. But like I said, bro, I think we're really in the cusp of finding our identity and figuring out who the fuck the city is. You know, one of my big things was everybody know the I Love New York thing with the Apple.
Right.
That's what I wanted that's what I wanted this to be. You know what I mean? Like tourists come to the city and this is what they look for. You know
They're like, I need that shirt before I leave.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And I see it. And I see it a lot. Like a lot of people, visitors, and they see the shirt and then they figure it out online. Social media is definitely one of my weaknesses because I don't post myself. You know what I mean? I feel like it's bigger than me. Right. So I post everybody else. And I'm trying to get out that because not necessarily shy, but that's what I always wanted to be, the focus on the city and the brand more than me. You know what I mean? And a lot of people make it about them and not about us. And so, you know, that's my thing.
Yeah. Hey,
you up 15K though on IG.
Yeah, you know, and look, and I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all, man. I did that shit organically, bro. I've never bought followers. I've never bought. I do paid ads for certain events, but not for my brand. And I'm trying to lead by example to understand that. Look, you get out here and you grind. I've had shops. I've had, you know, falling back to Soho. Soho was one of my biggest supporters when I was really getting into it. D and them and Raj and all them reached out to me, and they, you know, what Raj told me was his nephew, Adrian, right? He had one of my shirts on, was getting his hair cut. Or no, my bad. E. Perez with Touch of Precision Barbershop.
Over in North Tryon?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's got 3 or 4 shops now.
That's in the hood too.
Yeah. Listen. So he was one of the first people to ever sell my shit, right? Adrian was getting his hair cut with E. He had the shirt on, and true story. Adrian was like, yo, my uncle was trying to figure out whose shit that is. Can you contact me? Because people was walking around North Lake with his shirt on all the time. He was like, look.
They want that.
Yeah, they want that. So they trying to figure it out. So really, that's how I got into Soho. You know what I mean? Shout out to E. Perez. And it was the grind of the shit. You know what I'm saying? Because if you looked at my page, I don't post myself a lot. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I think it's bigger than me. But I've never bought followers, never did all that. That was one of my things because I felt like if I buy followers and this dude is in Saudi Arabia or wherever, he's not buying my thing. You know what I mean? So it doesn't equivocate.
That's where they be
It don't
too.
mean
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
They be out there.
Yeah,
goddamn
look, I look at
Bangladesh.
people's shit. People hit me all the time, bro. I can help you do this. I can help you that. I go and look at that shit, bro. They got 10,000 people that's out of the country.
Yeah.
So it doesn't equivocate me making money. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, bro, this is a business and it's about monetary status. You know what I mean? So I don't buy followers or I don't get certain shit because I feel like it's not for the look. You know what I mean? Like my city fuck with me and I appreciate it, and that's what I'm focusing on.
Yeah. Well, shit, tell them right there. He zoomed in. Yeah, you see that camera? That's your camera. So let them know. Do it into the mic too. Let them know that you don't buy followers and why you don't buy.
If you're not following me, follow me now. I'm trying to get my shit up.
Yeah.
They denied me hella times for the verification, and it's cool. Don't get it twisted. I'm still very proud of it.
Fix his mic so he can, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, look, don't get it twisted. I'm still verified out here. I've done the applications. I've done all that. Be genuine. Make sure your brand is organic. Put the hustle in. put the grind in, put the work in, and you're gonna see results.
Yeah.
Unfair_apparel. Follow me now if you don't follow me yet. Let's get it.
Hit the like, hit the follow.
Yeah.
Hit the
Hey,
like.
but look, everything that you said, it goes exactly what my quote says. You know, true success happens when you inspire other people to be successful. You know what I'm saying? Like everything that you do, if other people are looking at you and they're seeing like, okay, I can do that too. Shit, you made it already, bro.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how much money you have made, but if other people are looking at everything that you're doing, everything that
And they want to do that, yeah.
And look,
that's success.
before we get out of here real quick, I definitely want to get a big shout out to Soho, bro. D and them really helped me perpetuate what I was going on, falling back onto what Adrian shit was. They put my shit in the store and really believed in what the fuck I was doing. And they taught me a lot. You know what I mean? I really learned the retail business from Raj and D for the Soho part of it. You know what I mean? Because I didn't know the back end of it. And they really showed me what it was, and they taught me a lot, man. Yeah. So, you know, I appreciate y'all.
And I'll tell you something about D. D will never withhold information from someone he knows is going to be, you know, he's going to do something good with it. You know, he's one of those guys that, like, if you want to know something and you ask him and he has the answer, he'll give it to you.
And unfortunately, bro, he's told me things that I didn't want to hear, and I had to eat it. You know what I mean? And that's just part of understanding and growing and learning the business side of it.
But I mean, that's part of asking for advice for something too. Like you know, and don't ever make this mistake either for those who listen. If you ask someone who knows more than you for advice, don't think it's just going to be rainbows and flowers. They're going to tell you advice, the good thing, but it also come with the bad. Like, yo, this is what you need to do. But the reason why you can't do that is because of this. And then you start to realize, okay, word. So now I got to change this.
You know what a lot of people, the worst thing they hear is, what is your budget? Unfortunately, we have to ask that question because we need to know exactly what our range is and what we can do. So if your budget's $1,000, say it's $1,000. If it's $10,000, say it's $10,000. But at the same time, we have to know what we're working with, especially with merch, because you know, it's a certain regimen that we have to fall through with regarding manufacturing part of it, merch, what it is, you know, the profit margin on what it is, all that. So don't be discouraged when people ask you what your budget is. Don't be discouraged by that. You know what I mean? Be upfront, be truthful, and tell them, look, I don't have, you know, 100,000 to put into it, but I have this amount to put into it. And a lot of times we can figure out a structure to really facilitate what you're trying to do and what your budget is. You know what I mean? I hear artists all the time, man, I hate when people ask me what the budget is. But we have to know what the fuck you got going on.
Tell me what I'm working with.
Yeah, tell me what I'm working with. It's not we're disrespecting or we're being nosy or what it is we need to know what we're working with.
Right. No, that's a fact.
Part of the business.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, bro, capital is a big thing for us.
Yeah. I mean, money talk, y'all.
Yeah.
Money talk. But yo, Kaya, I appreciate you pulling up, man.
Yeah,
Thank you for the conversation. For real. We're going to give Kaya, I'll give him a round of applause, man. Yeah. yeah, no doubt, man. Yeah. And Kaya's officially in a gang. That's on my greatly. We're going to power up. That's on my greatly ambitious, intellectually noteworthy gentleman that's aggressively neutralizing the game, man. 365 days of the year. Why? Because Kaya is neutralizing the game 365 days of the year, man, for 10 years strong now.
Yes, sir.
So don't get it twisted. So again, I appreciate everybody that's tuning in, everybody that tuned in to the Hector Jesus show with Juan Bravo. Again, I am your brother in fashion, fitness, finance, and family, El Señor Romero Emiliano, Pablo Hector Jesus. You know I got my co-host with me, the stock trader, model data, straight alpha, never beta. He might just caress your bitch in the elevator and then sit back with a glass of yak and a pair of gators. Peace.